Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Victoris Rivals series here on this wonderful Thursday evening. I'm your host, Becky Rita, and joining me on the desk, we've got Kongman and Shogun. I am filling in for Dodge again tonight, who has been under the weather, feeling quite ill recently. I hope they get to a speedy recovery and they feel better. But we are here to talk about some League of Legends. We're here to talk about incredible gameplay action. Kongman, how are you doing tonight? How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, I actually got our prediction correct last week, so I'm hoping to carry this momentum into this week.
Oh,
And we all got it right.
wow. I also got a prediction right last
Oh,
week, and I was
nice.
not there. So
Nice.
this was great news for me to discover. I was like, yes, I did it. I deserve this. But, that's all right. Shogun, how have things been going for you? How have the predictions been going?
Things are wonderful, except that we all got it right. So realistically, it might as well have been we all got it wrong.
Whoa,
So
whoa, 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 whoa. Just because it was an easy production doesn't change the fact that we all got it right, okay? We were all just really present.
smart.
We all knew.
We were all geniuses. That we were like ultra instinct together as one.
Yeah, absolutely. We all shared one brain cell in that moment, and it was the correct brain cell. But with that said, it's always good to be correct. But tonight we have another prediction on the table because we have another matchup, and this one is going to be a lot harder to call. As we're going to be seeing two teams who are currently tied in the standings, and two teams who could be said to be of relatively close strength in Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian and True Minded Gaming. Now, True Minded Gaming, I have actually seen in the Duck League, actually. They played in the Platinum Ducklings. Gurf and I casted one of their matches together. But like a lot of the Tenebris teams, I have not actually seen this one in contention. So I don't even recognize. Okay, that's not true. I recognize their support. But aside from that, these are a lot of names I do not recognize on the Tenebris roster. So I'm very interested to see how they perform, and apparently they've been doing well throughout the split.
Can they like? Can they rebrand still? Is that allowed? Like
What's wrong with
their name is
Labyrinthian?
Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian. I didn't
Look,
predict them to win, did I? Because like I'd like
No,
to rescind that
you're minded.
out of pure spite.
Oh,
Yeah.
look,
spoiler!
we
I,
gotta
I
we gotta
knew.
hit all the
Thank
SAT
goodness.
words. We gotta get those good SAT words. This
Yeah, I
is
don't think.
literally like their team names are like Magic the Gathering cards. It's just like
Apparently.
nonsense.
Okay, okay.
Okay, but it's true though. Like I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna get back into game, and unless I like specifically look at this Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget. It's gonna happen. That's just a fact of the nature of that name. Now, True Minded Gaming, that's like a real name. That's like you're not trying to do
This is
anything fancy.
this
You're
is
keeping it short and to the
true
point.
minded. True minded.
Exactly. Don't have to do anything crazy. I mean, oh goodness gracious. But that's okay. Um, we could talk a little bit about the specific matchups and
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
teams as well, because I feel like Kongman and I both want to talk a little bit about the top lane matchup, which is going to be very interesting. And I looked at one of the teams and I was like, all right, it should be a wrap for the other team because this top laner is gold. And surely the other top laner on the other team is just going to absolutely wipe the floor with this guy. Then I looked at the other team and their starting top laner is
Is
silver.
silver? Oh
And then
my
I
god,
got
this is a
I got
smackdown.
really I got really confused. And then I went, how surely there's like something we're not seeing here because both teams are 3-1 and there should be no way that they're able to get that record. But I mean, we'll see because if these teams are actually like genuinely good enough to get 3-1 with like some like weirdly low ranks, I'm actually super excited to see how they play as a team instead of individually.
I mean, one thing I do want to point out is you're calling out a Punky Russ on the side of a Labyrinthian being silver, but if you do look at their past seasons, they were previously platinum. So that could just be the curse of like doing really bad emplacements. Me this season.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did that. They did bad in placements, and after 1,000 games, they can't escape. Their MMR is undentable. It is just locked them in
I can
silver
relate
too.
to that.
No matter how hard they try, they cannot
You
escape
know,
it.
you
And
know
you know
they were
what?
they were platinum and then they did bad emplacements and now they have a 47% win
Wha
rate.
How is he
That's relatable.
P4 and he has a 47% win rate in silver too? Alright.
Look,
That was a really good
sometimes
Shaggy impression.
sometimes sometimes you just get stuck and there's no way to climb out, but clearly Tenebris sees something
Oh,
in the
first,
roster that we do in this guy that we do not, and the performances, like you said, show that there's something here, and there's a reason that these top laners who are maybe lower ranked are being played right now, and it's maybe some sort of X factor that we can't see purely through OPGGs. Maybe good comms, maybe just flexible gaming. Sometimes you just need a guy that doesn't int. So, if you can get that guy, that's okay. It doesn't matter what their rank is as long as they do as long as they're fine and they don't completely bleed out in the top lane. And if you're going to have a role that is going to be the lowest ranked, aside from like support, top lane is probably the one where I'd have a lower ranked player. Um I sometimes it depends. It depends on the league, the rest of the league's top laners. Because if I'm looking
Dodge,
at like,
what is this groan noise you're making?
You say
huh,
dodge?
no, Dodge,
Oh, I meant Shogun.
Yes,
Shogun.
right. Put some
Let's
respect on my
dodge
name.
that man real quick.
Um, I think it's actually more of a Kongman thing, honestly. Kongman always preaches the top diff in competitive games,
Listen,
so that's
I
more of
all
like a thing for him.
listen. I usually preach the top div because usually it's so big it doesn't matter.
It's a
But this
gold
time
versus a
around,
silver too. That's
I mean,
has a
no, no,
thousand games in
yes,
silver too.
yes, but have you seen the junglers?
All right,
Oh, you're so
let's
right.
take a
The
look at these
the Diamond
jungle
3
matchups.
jungler versus the Gold 1 jungler.
Okay, who has the gold? Who has the Diamond 3 jungler?
No, I
Do
think
not.
there's a plat
Labyrinth,
jungler.
Labyrinthian.
That's
Okay.
the
Yeah,
No,
there's
there's a
Devil. Yeah, Devil Milk Tea is the jungler on um
True minded.
TMG, and Flimsy Fence is the jungler on TELB. And yeah, Flimsy Fence
Nope.
is Diamond 3 currently, was Plat last season. And Devil Milk Tea also Plat last season. Holy god, what? How are these people getting in so many games? Do I just not play this game? I feel like all of these numbers are absurd. How are you playing this much without wanting to not play anymore?
some people
This is
just be on that
unreal.
grind. Some people just
I
be on that grind.
I respect it. They have more free time than I do, maybe, or maybe they don't have more free time. They just really like League of Legends.
That's just how they use their free time. It's not about having free time. It's just what do you do with the time that you happen to have at your disposal. Do you do what you're
Yeah,
supposed
but
to? No,
no,
never.
never, never. But talking
I feel
about
attacked.
junglers, we actually do have a couple of really interesting changes on the last patch, which dropped yesterday. In two of the biggest junglers of 12.17, that being Hecarim and John Deere, both have been hit on this last patch. You could argue that Udyr's was more of a readjustment to some of his power levels, giving more power to Q and taking some away from R, but Hecarim got straight nerfed.
Oh yeah.
And I
Deserved.
have to ask, does this change Hecarim's priority in draft
Yes. Yes.
because of the
Yes.
damage? Okay. Break it down. Why are we not going to be seeing a horse anymore?
Because Hecarim is bad and Lee Sin got buffed, so Lee Sin is good.
Alright, shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
Oh,
Shut up. Shut
mm-hmm.
up. Nope.
Because
Nope.
this is a
Nope.
Worlds patch, and we need to
Okay,
see
yeah,
Lee Sin
let
for
me look at
Worlds.
the Lee Sin change.
It's not. It's copium. It's copium. It's
Hmm.
copium. It's copium.
Huh, we
It's
have
copium.
slightly more HP
Yes.
and slightly more spell vamp and lifesteal and an ability that I'm pretty sure you level last.
No, no, you level it. You level it second. So
Do you
that's the.
level safeguard second? Okay,
I think. I
I
think
have not
so.
played a single game of Lee Sin in my
I
entire
think
life, so I have
I
no
can't.
idea.
Yeah, or at least if you didn't before, I feel like this is a change that might make you take W second. I remember a while ago. It's been a while since I played some Lee Sin. It's been like a few seasons, but I remember back then you were maxing like W second for like, I think the the cooldown is actually really important on it to be able to like keep hopping in and out. And also, I think it adjusts the energy cost of it as well. And I think having the energy cost of it being lower is important. I don't know if that's like the statistic that it actually is, or that's what it changes, but if it is, it makes a lot of sense, right? Um, Other than that, Lee Sin is exactly the same champ he once was. In competitive, he's still going to be a pretty solid pick, or like in high echelons of gameplay, like Diamond Plus or like High Diamond Plus. If you play Lee Sin, you're probably gonna have a good time. You might even have like a slightly better time. But if you don't know how to play Lee Sin, this won't make him like super broken. It's not like his base damage got buffed, right? Or he's just
Yeah.
like, there was that one patch where you could have been like a bronze Lee Sin player and you would land 1Q and you probably one shot somebody.
Hmm.
So Lee Sin is going to be the same champion he always was. Hecarim, though, his win rate was dropped from 54% to 47%. Now, that's only one
Oh.
day's worth of data, but I feel like a lot of people probably either didn't read the patch notes or still wanted to keep trying Hecarim to see if he was strong still. The answer seems to be a pretty overwhelming no. The champion seems pretty bad unless you pair something with it, like a Yumi, that makes it good still, and even then,
Yeah.
it just seems so gutted, so not worth playing the champion, especially with Yumi also having been gutted previously. It's just, what's the point of playing the champions? I think there are other things that I would like to see a little bit more of. And
All
speaking
right.
of
What
copium,
about
oh,
Udyr? What about Udyr?
Udyr?
Do you-
I don't know enough about Udyr. I don't know if
okay.
Kongman wants to say anything about the Udyr,
Are
but
are I have played quite a bit of Udyr, so I can talk on it if Cogman
okay.
doesn't have anything.
Go right ahead. I've played like 2 games of Udyr.
All right, Udyr feels pretty much exactly the same. Like the extra range on Q is nice, and you have a bit less healing in your first clear. If you with Turtle being hit in the early game, the regen on Turtle being hit in the early game, but like you're functionally the exact same that you were. The extra damage you get on Q is not significant enough to actually want to start specking into it. I think that there may be some weird builds where we see like a couple extra points put in Q taken out of E later in the game because you typically go Phoenix, Turtle, Bear, but Phoenix,
Boar,
Boar, Ram.
Ram,
Uh,
yeah,
but what
Anivia,
I yeah, but what
Gristle.
Gristle. I don't know. I don't play. I'm not a Sejuani enjoyer. But what I think is more what I think that some Udyr players might start doing because of the Q buffs is maybe put some extra points in Q instead of E and opt into going some movement speed increasing items like the Force of Nature or the Dead Man's Plate. But I don't think it's necessarily going to change Udyr's place in the meta. I still think he's incredibly strong, and he has all the same strengths that he had on the last patch, and also the same weaknesses that he had on the last patch. So I can't say if we'll see him today. I would like to cope about Maokai. I love Maokai. His Q damage is ridiculous. They have approached the upper limit of how many times they can buff Maokai's damage before it starts to become a problem. And it is a bit of a problem right now. He is doing Darius levels of damage in the top lane. He is not fair. And his healing is also not fair. Maokai just feels really strong, in my opinion. 2 sets of buffs in a row, but I just am a big Maokai enjoyer, so I want to see more of this champion. I think it's really good, and nobody's playing it.
Not nobody. I am a Maokai enjoyer as well. Maokai's so strong in the support position right now. At least in my opinion. I think he's honestly the second best support right now. I think the only
Mhm,
thing that's a downside of him as an engaged support is his range is not great. In
mhm,
fact, it's like way worse than the two other engaged supports I think are really good, which are going to be Amumu and Nautilus. I think their
mhm,
range is like 10 times better. But for what Maokai lacks in that range, he makes up for it in survivability. He is so hard to kill. He does a wicked amount of damage once his Q is like has 5 points in it. It is absolutely insane what that Q can do to people. So for that reason, I think Maokai's a really exciting champion. I also think he's pretty playable top and jungle as well. So also looking forward to seeing if some of these teams want to go ahead and pick up the tree man in any of those 3 lanes.
All right. Well, before we roll into the draft, we do need to go over predictions. We have them on the table because we're going to loop back to talking about these teams, less about the patch. We're going to pull up today's prediction updates. Let's get that chart. Baba boom. There it is. Kongman and I are predicting TMG to win this one. Or no, Shogun and I. Kongman, however, is predicting Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian. Labyrinth Wall
Oh
over
yeah.
here. Uh, the Paradox brothers on Tenebris Esports, this roster here, they will succeed, or will they? To be honest,
They
I
will.
didn't put too much research into these teams. It was literally a gut feeling. So sort of, I want you two to sort of break down your take. So, Cogman, the top differential. Is that what matters in this, or is there something? Is it the diamond jungler? Is
Listen,
that where you're
the
pulling this
the
out?
the junglers are not the junglers. The top laners are unlucky in ranked, so that's why you're not seeing their true rank on op.gg. Because
Mm-hmm.
the elo word I can't say on stream is real. But then the jungler difference is so massive that I firmly believe that Tenebris's jungler is going to be all over the map, while True Minded's is still going to be farming blue buff, going, guys, I can't kill this. How do I play the game?
That's fair. It's understandable. I sometimes get lost trying to fight blue buff myself. So jungle diff is going to play a role in Tenebris Esports Labyrinth Wall taking the win. Shogun, why do you think it's going to go over to TMG? Other than spite, other than pure spite, what's the logical reason
Well, not
if
just
there is one?
not just pure spite, but like their name just sucks. I mean, like surely True Minded Gaming just smacks to the floor with like these like tremendous esports librarians, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there should be no chance based on like name alone. What's wrong? Did I say something incorrectly? I don't.
You said something absolutely correct. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, I think TELB just gets absolutely smacked around this game purely because they're just going to be laughed at the entire time, and like if you're not taken seriously, how are you ever supposed to win a game, right? So that's like the 100% real reason I think they lose this series. Now, maybe a different reason, some would call it a more reasonable theory as to why they would lose this one is the top diff might get the better of them. If the
If
jungler
Punkyverse
for
is truly silver.
right, exactly. And so if they play around this top lane like the way they should, and they get this top laner ahead on the side of True Minded Gaming, I actually think it's really dangerous for TELB to actually play the game. Especially if they don't end up having a top side, it makes the jungler have a much harder time as well. So that's what you're really looking for. As I agree with Kongman to a certain extent, is can the junglers play around their top sides, and if the jungler is actually that much better than the opposing jungler, I think there is. That's the win con for TELB. But as long as TMG's jungler can, put up a formidable fight and they draft their top laner in a winning matchup, which it looks like they'll be able to do in game number 1 here. I believe they get red side. So yeah, they can draft, a counter pick for their solo laners. And I think that's what they're going to end up having to play through. And I think that's a very winnable situation for them.
All right, well, we can pull it back to the desk here. Now, I think that both of you raised some really compelling arguments. Is it going to be a match of jungle diff or top diff? We look to see in these teams with higher rank disparities, which is going to matter the most. And from my own experience, as a mid gold jungler who has beaten several plat junglers in the draft league, sometimes rank just doesn't matter as a jungler. If all your lanes are losing, it's like, oh man, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do? I'm chopped liver right now. I can clear my own camps, maybe. And it's like, can I fish for a gank? No, nobody's doing damage. Somebody help me. So I do think that if there is, even with the jungle difference, it all comes down to how the lanes perform to see if the jungler will actually be able to do their job. And if there's such a huge disparity in top lane, although arguable whether that disparity is actually there, we'll have to see in game if that is the case. But either way, I think this is going to be a very close matchup, and it's going to be very exciting to see how this breaks down. I do not know the status of where the players are in terms of getting into draft. Uh,
I received word they are ready for draft.
they are ready for draft. Excellent. Well then, I
Right on schedule.
suppose I suppose we can go ahead and throw it over to the draft for game 1 of this series between the two tied up second place teams in Tenebris Esports Librarians and True Minded Gaming. Take it away, lads.
Alrighty, thank you so much. As we are getting into the draft here, with TELB on the blue side and True Minded Gaming on the red side. As I stated before, we do have those bands coming through. I do like that Misfortune band from the red side. I think that is one of the best B1s. I was actually going to mention this earlier. I think Misfortune got copium nerfs. I would hesitate to call them real nerfs. They took away it was 0.3 AD or growing AD. So it's total of, if you got to level 18 every single game, which you won't because you're an ADC, 5.4 AD taken away from her kit, and it's like 4 HP taken away from her every level as well, growing health. So it's about 50 health again if you make it to level 18. Let's be honest though, you're probably actually only making it to level 14, 15 in most competitive games, especially in this Fortune game where you're looking to snowball super fast. Yes, you scale really hard. Okay, that was illegal. I don't know how that got through. We're going to talk about that one in a second. But Misfortune being allowed to, like, the nerfs didn't do anything to her. She's still the menace that she once was in the early, mid, late stages of the game. Less so, I believe, in the late stages of the game if she doesn't snowball at all. But something that we do need to talk about real quick is that Fiora pick B1. I think that was so disrespectful to let through from TMG and might honestly straight up cost him the series. This is someone who he had over 1,000 games on it last season. It's what got him into plat last season. He hasn't been playing it as much this season, probably because he wants to improve as a player, which I respect a lot. But they gave him his best champion, and I think that was a huge mistake. Yes, you have the Camille to counter. I don't even think that's necessarily a good counter. I think that is a skill matchup at best in the top lane.
Yeah, I definitely believe a lot of this matchup is really going to come down to skill. I have received word part of our production has broken, so I'm currently trying to feed all of the picks and bans coming in at the same time. So Shogun, while I feed some information, you go ahead and talk about this Kane pick, which seems to be very spicy for the side of TELB.
Kane bad. Kane is a crutch. Kane is an elo inflated champion. I think it's the most elo inflating champion of the jungle. For one specific reason, which is that it makes you not have to learn pathing at all. You can take any path to get to your camps whatsoever, and it makes it really easy for you. Anyone who disagrees probably mains Kane and is like coping super hard. This is actually something that pros have said in the past. Is like a lot of what pros like to play are champions that can like go over walls, and that's why people really like Kane. Contracts was like one of the first LCS players to bring it out in the LCS when he first came out. That was something that I really liked about him, was how much terrain you could just straight up ignore. That has not really gone away at all. It's just remained a complete part of his kit. It's why Talon's also pretty good. I think Kane's even more ridiculous than Talon though, because you don't have cooldowns on the walls themselves. So but that being said, I think Kane is an okay champion in the current meta, especially if you do pair it with some shields and like maybe a double enchanter comp. I think in this game it might be a little bit silly to do. But he is one of the stronger champions, assuming you go red form for that kind of play style, should they want to do that. But we'll see. Kane is either, it makes for a really exciting game or is just kind of sleeper because he just stomps way too hard on people who don't know proper jungle pathing. And I think you put your diamond jungler on something like Kane, you could probably abuse the jungle matchup pretty hard with a champion like that.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting. And we are actually going to be seeing TMG banning away the Victor. Kind of blanked on his name there, and TELB responding with a Cassiopeia floating ban potentially could be locked in here. It is going to be confirmed. Honestly, Cassiopeia is kind of like that one mid laner we don't see very often, or at least in this kind of a VRS tournament standards. But we do see the Lulu locked in for TMG. So Sivir Lulu, that's kind of spicy.
I think Silver Lulu is actually super vanilla, personally. I
Okay.
so the reason is Silver Lulu is actually one of the strongest lanes in the game right now. With the Lulu nerfs, maybe not as much. But Lulu Silver is one of those lanes that you'd see like Lulu Jinx, Lulu Twitch. It's the same kind of concept. You have this super strong hyper carry that just autos 15 times a second and just absolutely pops off in the late game. So if you can get to that late game, I mean, Lulu Silver becomes unstoppable. Even with those Lulu nerfs, they took a lot of her. The cooldown on her W is lowered. The movement speed on it is lowered as well, and I think the duration of the poly itself has been lowered as well. So not great changes for the Lulu. Not exactly what you want to see. Meanwhile, Silas is going to be locked in for the other side. I like the Silas to take away Swain ultimate. As for the other ultimates available, I'm not a huge fan of them because they're not really good. Fiora really bad one to take. I think Mantra from Karma is like whatever. Ace in the hole from the Caitlyn is like okay. Like you can secure some kills with that. You can like chunk them for a little bit of damage, do something funny there. And then the Kane ultimate is like solid for lifesteal. I think you still get the lifesteal, assuming Kane does go red this game, which if he goes blue, I think he wants to lose the game for his team, personally. But yeah, Silas, like I said, just kind of has those three ultimates. The other two not that great, but you're hoping that the Swain ultimate is enough, or that better yet, you can bully the Swain like nobody's business in the early laning phases.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be interesting, especially with some of these matchups. Personally, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this Fiora Camille because of the fact you have two very mobile top laners. Fiora able to just do a nice little sidestep into poke damage, and then you got Camille who just all ins. Which honestly, it's going to be a matter of can Fiora, I forgot the name of her ability, Repose, the Camille abilities running into her.
Riposte. Yeah.
Riposte.
Yes, that's
Uh,
yes.
I
As
believe that is correct. Listen. As I even put in our
well,
VRS chat, whenever I saw the Fiora statue, I don't play Fiora, but I want that statue.
you just don't pronounce the e. That's all.
Riposte.
No, wrong.
Nope, that is correct now.
Sure. Sweet. Yeah, if she can, riposte the hook shot,
That just
then
sounds weird.
uh, riposte. It's definitely not riposte. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but Riposte sounds fancy.
If you, yeah, it
Like
also
we are.
sounds like an American trying to be fancy. Is what it sounds like. Anyway,
True.
if the hook shot is blocked and the stun is transferred onto the Camille, I think it's pretty one for Fiora, and it's not like it's super hard to do either. You have to wait for the Camille to. If the Camille is really good at playing her champion, she can actually like kind of surprise the Fiora with it, um, or kind of mind game it at best. And there's a world where I could see that happening to Fiora, where you use your W a little bit too early, right? So you see that hook shot coming in. As soon as the Camille hits the wall, you riposte, and then all of a sudden, Camille isn't flying at me yet because she just kind of stuck on the wall for half a second, and then the Camille flies at the Fiora, gets a stun off, and Fiora takes like half her health and damage, right? So it's who can who ends up winning that mind game. It's actually all it's the control is in Fiora's hands. If Fiora messes it up, it is like 100% her fault. So because he has so many games on Fiora, I expect him to be able to win the matchup because this is a matchup that you should be fairly familiar with.
Yeah, this definitely should be a very familiar matchup. We do know Camille is a really popular top laner. Fiora, semi-popular, not like the most played, but definitely up there. A little more played than Kale is, as much as I know Shogun really loves Kale.
Okay, woo.
Yeah,
Let's go with
KL
KO.
Gaming.
All I'm saying, if Fiora pops off this game, this is going to be a game where you have to take it out of his hands. I think letting him have the Fiora was an insane decision. I think in True Minded Gaming's like mind, they were like, okay, maybe Fiora, maybe they don't first pick Fiora and we can take it away from them. I think that was, if that's what their idea is, I think it's super disrespectful. Again, just look at the OP.GG. Like, yes, the champions that you banned were strong, like specifically the Misfortune, but like some credit has to be given to this Fiora, right? It's he plays so much of this Fiora, and you're acting like, yeah, he's silver, but he hasn't been playing Fiora. Like, if you look at the statistics, right, he has like 100, maybe 150 games on the Fiora, and he has so many more games on something like the Mordekaiser this season. And then you look at past seasons, he has like over 1K games on Fiora alone last season, and he was plat. So that's the champion. If you take a one trick, right? A one trick Fiora who's plat is going to perform much worse on other champions that aren't Fiora, but now you've actually, by enabling him to have the Fiora, you've made him a plat player in this game. In terms of like pure micro level, right? So
Yeah,
we'll have to
that
see how
is
that works out for him on the top lane.
that. Yeah, that's definitely something I can confirm. Whenever I used to do Overwatch semi-competitively, I was a Symmetra one trick. I know I'm probably gonna get yelled at in the chat if there's any Overwatch gamers in there, because Symmetra was like the most hated character in the game. I was GM, but then anytime like I played in a team scenario and they were like, "Hey, we need something other than that," I was like, high diamond, low masters. It wasn't great, but I could still play it.
Right. Exactly. And so, you know, it's why would you give that option to the enemy team when you can easily just take it away with a ban? I don't think the Nila or Nyla was that, you know, crazy to. I don't think it's that good of a champion right now. I think the champion that you locked in is actually pretty good into something like that because you have a spell shield to, you know, block the pull at the very end from Nyla's ultimate. You can block the Q as well from Nyla to make sure that she can't, you know, use those empowered auto attacks, assuming that you're the only one she hits with it. So there could have been, maybe they're just really scared because they don't like the champion itself. Also, again, Lulu polymorph would have been huge to deal with the Nyla. There were just so many reasons I think letting that champion through would have been perfectly fine, and banning the Fiora would have been a 10 times better idea. But I mean, we'll have to see if that gamble doesn't work out for them. Because if you do crush the one trick on their champion, and or if he just loses on the champion, if he loses on the Fiora, that's a huge ego hit.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna have to see how this gamble works out, but hopefully Twitch doesn't hurt us for gambling on this one, but we're gonna be throwing it to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as we wait for this spectator delay.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 1 of Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian. On the blue side and on the red side, we have True Minded Gaming. Wow, what a real name that they have. What a fun name that
Okay.
just rolls off the tongue. It just like, all right, I want you to say I forgot their name already. TLB's name 5 times fast. Go now, do it.
Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian, Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian, Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian, Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian, Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian. Easy.
Now watch this. True Minded Gaming, True Minded Gaming, True Minded Gaming, True Minded Game. I could do that for like a year and a half.
You didn't even
That
you
was
didn't
easy.
even say it 5 times.
Yeah, I didn't because I didn't
God,
have to because
peasant.
I didn't even stumble at all.
Because you knew you couldn't go all 5 rounds.
Well, no, I just didn't want to bother the listeners with saying it 5 times. I
Oh,
didn't
so
need
you want
to.
me to say it 5 times, then you're gonna debate me. Kind of
True
like how we're getting
Minded
debated
Gaming,
with
True
another
Minded
5 points.
Gaming, True Minded Gaming, True Minded Gaming, True Minded Gaming. There, are you happy? I said
Yeah,
it
that
5
sounded pretty. That
times.
sounded pretty boring, like a very boring team name.
Yeah, because it's easy to say.
But a good team name is Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian.
You didn't even say it correctly. If
I
I'm,
did.
I don't know if that's true. Anyway, so we see that both junglers are actually pathing towards the top side, which I really like from these junglers. Something that is unfortunate though is both of these top laners do have teleport, so they'll be able to get back to lane pretty fast if they do end up dying to a gank. So makes the gank a little less effective than if you had, Flash Ignite, because then if you die without teleport, it takes you forever to get back. But as you expect in the early game, the Fiora is winning, or sorry, not Fiora, the Camille is winning the level 1 trades because she gets to, W from a good bit away. As bot lane will both hit level 2, Lulu is somehow winning the trades pretty easily. Fiora, meanwhile, shoving this wave out pretty hard, as the junglers will probably be meeting up somewhere in the top lane. The gank should just be net neutral. I highly doubt anything is going to come out of it as a result because of, how both junglers are pathing. Assuming that both actually do end up going for the gank. Unless Kane, he is farming a lot faster, did not elect to do a full clear. He actually, that's not a diamond player's clear. That was a very silly one in my opinion, because you do red Raptors. I'm pretty sure he went wolves blue. He is fast enough to actually get to the top lane first. For what it matters, I don't think this is actually a gank though. I think he's actually wasting a good bit of time. But it doesn't matter because of how fast he got here, right? He can just go ahead and immediately get on this Scuttle Crab. Might as well just ward it out. Maybe even kill the enemy jungler.
Yeah, he might here, but we do see Silas and Swain rotating up into the river. Fiora and Camille just doing a nice little poke battle. And it appears mid lane, Kane did get the scuttle, so it appears that Udyr is going to be running as fast as he can to the spot lane scuttle.
Yeah, that's going to be his goal, right? And neither of the junglers ended up getting their Scuttle Crabs, and as a result, because of that, right, the Kane gets to go to his Krugs much earlier, is able to pick those up. Meanwhile, Udyr won't really be in a position to go and take his own Krugs until, his next clear. He'll probably have to go up, take his Gromp here, if he wants to stay on a relatively decent track. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Udyr's coming in for a gank. Mid lane is trading, but now Udyr's onto the Karma. Karma has to run for her life, is ticking down. Flash out of the Caitlyn as well, but the trap hits. That's going to be first blood going over to the Caitlyn. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's a solo bolo for the Swain. 2-0 so far for the Theodore Eleanor Roosevelts of the blue side. What?
Yeah, that is a that is a different team name that I've heard before.
I don't know, man. It's like, it's the same thing. It's TELB.
Well, don't
TELB.
worry, Kane is here looking for a kill.
He is looking for something here, trying to find it. The root is going to land onto the Lulu. Lulu is going to go down. Meanwhile, the Sivir wants to try to fight her way out of this one. Maybe try to find a triple kill. I highly doubt that's going to be possible. Trying to walk up. That's going to be a Mantra Q that hits right on top of her. That's going to be a lot of damage that comes down. That's going to be the spell shield. That's going to be the flash forward from the Kane. Kane's going to land that W. Will he die? No, he won't. He's so close. Here comes Udyr. He wants to try to get himself a triple kill. Doesn't have flash. Doesn't have ghost, though, to run them down. Instead, we'll have to just settle for the CS, and that's a 4-0 lead for the side of TELB.
Yep, I definitely want to say TELB is looking pretty good at the moment. Only 5 minutes in, currently up 4-0 with a 2,000 gold lead. But so far we look at the top lane with this one trick Fiora, it's still 0-0. You think maybe this Fiora would have already tried to all in this Camille.
Absolutely, as they are going to go ahead and take these Krugs away and start going up and path back towards this pretty solid jungle pathing. Like I said, doesn't really have to jungle path too correctly here. He kind of just gets to do whatever he wants, go through every single wall known to man. But to his credit, I think after, you know, the first clear that he did, even though it wasn't a full clear, it's still better than what Udyr is relegated to doing. He just took his Gromp, he's just now taking his Wolves, and is still behind on the Kayn. And for all accounts, I believe that Udyr should have a faster clear. So really nice stuff so far from the Kayn in this this early jungle game. Of course, being able to affect his lanes much more, considering his team is 4-0 and Udyr's team has 0 kills, making it rather hard for the enemy Udyr to play the game.
We also want to point out that Tenebris is currently in our chat saying that this is looking like quite an early game for them. And they also said it's currently a caster diff.
Yeah, that's because you said you stumbled over their name, and they seem to let you get away with that, which is
I did not stumble over their name.
you definitely stumbled. You didn't like say it wrong, but you definitely didn't say it as like easily as I could say. Well, huh?
Oh?
Alright. I feel like that guy should have been able to I think that was a stopped back. But
I feel like
unfortunately,
Kane is in the fountain wiping the sweat off like, oh, I don't know how I didn't get stopped there. Clearly
I don't
a
even
ping
know if
diff.
I don't even know if he's in that much of trouble, right? It actually could have been like a spectator thing, yeah. It could have been like a slight ping type of diff, but meanwhile, this bot lane is going to be so much harder for the Sivir, for the Lulu. If you look at the build that Caitlyn has, she actually started with Cole, which is a little bit of a question mark decision. Considering you hard win this lane, I don't think it was really necessary. It wasn't really like a farm it out type of game, but maybe that's just the tech, who knows. But the Noon Quiver does mean that you are going to start snowballing a lot harder, combined with the Cole, right? So you're going to have a lot more money than the Sivir. It's actually pretty insane how much more money you're going to end up having. Meanwhile, in the top line, it's actually looking like a solo kill is going to happen for one of these players, unless the Camille just runs away, which makes sense. Meanwhile, this is a pretty easy invade for the side of Kayn to do. He just calls up his bot lane. He's like, invade with me or I will end the game away. And they say, you know what? I think invading with you sounds like a pretty good idea. And they easily take down the Udyr in his own jungle.
Yep, very unfortunate that Udyr went down, so this should be a free dragon for the side of Labyrinthian. Unless this Sivir might do something crazy, which I don't think is ever going to happen in this scenario, especially with Caitlyn already pathing down. Yep, it is going to be Labyrinthian picking up the dragon.
Meanwhile, if you look here, the Camille has used her TP to get back to lane. No ultimate available for the Fiora for about half the time left, so I'd say about like 45 seconds or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, could be a little bit less time. But that is a play for the Camille. That's the short range hookshot I was talking about. But a great parry to cancel the Hextech ultimatum. And that's even better from the Fiora, honestly. It says, screw blocking your E. I'm just going to block your entire ultimate. This top lane is getting dipped pretty hard, all because he was allowed to get his pocket pick up on the top lane.
Yep, and now we are going to be seeing an all-in here, but wait a minute, Kane's also here in the mid lanes. Silas says, you don't want to be here.
No, not at all. It does get rooted, does get brought back. That's going to be the W that ends up missing from the Kayn. Kane's going to ult him, try to go in, try to get the kill as well. Swain is still ulting this entire time, finds the kill with his jungler. Jungler is going to be the one who locks that one down. Swain finally runs out because he has nothing to hit anymore, as Kayn believes he can just go wherever he pleases, and, you know, I'll be damned if that's incorrect.
I mean, Kane can't go anywhere he wants, you know, just easily step
Exactly.
into a wall with his ability, and he goes, yeah, I think I'll walk through this wall.
Doing pretty well for themselves to start out this game.
We are going to be seeing Silas TPing back into the mid lane, so TP is going to be on cooldown for him. Swain does not have TP, so is going to currently be a fair backing on both sides. Udyr currently floating the bot side, but there's no objective up at the moment. Not for another 3 minutes.
Now, if there was an objective, this would be pretty huge. This could be a gank onto the bot lane. Bot lane, they have to go now because they're going to get spotted out very soon. So here they come. Udyr is so unbelievably slow because of that mantra Q. As a result, they're not going to be able to get the kill at all. On the top line, it is still a trade for trade. Ultimate is available for the Fiora. Hookshot is going to get blocked. That's going to be a stun up. That was a very risky play for the Camille. It is not going to pay off. That's the flash on the tower. That's an easy solo kill for Fiora. Camille, what are you doing making that play? It is just never legal for you.
That is the power of the one-trick Fiora, knowing exactly when to go in, when to ult, and getting the riposte perfectly timed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so far, it's just been a team diff all around, though. Honestly, I would consider it a jungle diff. I mean, how much more impactful? That is a 10-minute Kane form. In no world should that be allowed, but look at the lanes that he's been ganking, right? He finds Udyr a lot of the times. He's been fighting Silas a good bit. And if you're fighting Udyr in pretty much every fight you're taking, right, that's going to be a lot of points going towards that red form, and lo and behold, already has that Gore Drinker finished as well. I mean, how big is this Kane? How much pressure can he exert on the map? He can honestly kill this bot lane pretty easily. Sivir steps up just a tad too close, flashes away, doesn't quite get the knockup. Ace in the hole is going to fly away, and that's going to be Lulu who ends up having to tank it, though. If they stick around for too much longer, they could get dove, and they seem to agree with that sentiment and will back off the tower, considering that the wave is also in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, and how you mentioned that Kane is already in form at 10 minutes. I was going to ask when was the last time we've seen a Kane hit 10 minutes in like the pro scene, but then I kind of remembered Kane hasn't really been picked in the pro scene.
There was that one time Spica had a 20-minute Kane form. That was pretty funny.
Oh, 20 minutes, that's pretty good.
I
think
don't
that's better
even
than
know.
my Kane record.
I think he got blue Kane as well, and then he just had to like change because it was so doomed if he didn't. This is a pretty illegal pathing for the enemy, or for the TMG bot lane. That's gonna be a flash onto the tower. Ultimate will not save you, Lulu. Instead, you are just gone, and that is just a page out of the book for the Kane here. You wait for the bot lane to dare walk up to the tower. They just can't do it. You're too strong. Your bot lane's too strong as well. And meanwhile, the side of TMG have to start playing around this top lane, get some gold into this Camille and the Udyr. 480 gold goes over to them, but it's just not enough to keep up with this snowballing bot lane and jungle of TELB.
Alright, so with Tenebris currently being up 8-0, I guess I'll throw a little bit of a caster curse on here. Who do you think is going to be the first one on Tenebris to die?
I think none of them die. I actually think they win. I think they go the entire series without dying. I think
you think they get a perfect game? No
I think
towers
it would
money?
be I think it would be impossible for TELB to throw this game and then their future games as well. I think it'd be absolutely impossible for them to lose. That's going to be a one dead Lulu in the bot lane. Steps right into the trap. Gets hit in the face with the Peacemaker as well. Here comes the Sivir, wants to ult in, but guess who's here? It's Kane. He is not going to let you rest. He's going to kill you on repeat for the clout, as that's going to be the kill going over to the Kane. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Meanwhile, Udyr trying to get some vision in the river, trying to get the Scuttle Crab. He doesn't want to have to use Smite because the dragon is here, but he does end up having to just so he can get some gold back on the map. And it's not like you're contesting this dragon anyway. Never mind, you are contesting this dragon for who knows why, as Kane and Karma decide it's not really worth it for the time being. As Camille could get dove in the top lane, Ultimate is available for that Fiora. We'll see how that one goes. But first, have to look towards the bot side. Sivir is spawning. Sivir is coming back. See if it actually means anything, though.
Yeah, I think if you're true-minded here, you don't contest this dragon. I mean, you're currently down 6,000 gold, and honestly, this is kind of one of those games you just forfeit at 15.
It could be, or you could get a miracle fight here. You do have that Camille teleport onto the backline. Fiora doesn't really know this is happening yet. Finally teleports in. Camille's still not in the fight yet. Finally gets there. And will they be able to peel off this Kane? Kane is going to go down! Shut down. Huge money going over to the sides of TMG. Swain could also die. That's a lot of money that goes into the pockets of, I believe, the Camille. Now it's just Fiora against Camille and Lulu. Wait, Caitlyn is here as well. Makes it a super risky play to go for, as both sides will likely have to back off here. At the best, they could send in the Silas. I actually think that this is, a play they can make. Udyr is running now, but that is a low dragon. Lulu cannot be the first to walk in. Camille kind of gave up on the play, so it's just too late. maybe you can go in now, but I don't think it's worth it anymore. Just go ahead, back away. Teleport coming through. Why? Goodness me. Silas wants to just try to find the kill, try to find something for their trouble. Trap is going to hit, though. Hookshot is going to fly, but that's going to be the flash out of the Caitlyn. A teleport for a flash play. Chains are going to miss as well. Kane is here, which means you cannot continue this play. It is just not allowed. Questionable decisions all around from TMG. Maybe some still plays, but either way, TELB, despite dropping those shutdowns, looking pretty solid and still in control of game number 1.
Yeah, and Cryo on the side of Tenebra is doing a really good job getting that Caitlyn trap down onto the TP ward, so that way as soon as Silas came in, he was immediately rooted, gave them the chance to get away. Honestly, I believe the only reason why Caitlyn survived that entire scenario.
For sure, as that's going to be the Kane taking away that Grop wants to go ahead and possibly path towards a Camille who could overextend a little bit. No vision, very dark map for the red side. TMG don't really know a whole lot about what's going on the top side of the map. They actually have some good vision on the bot side. I'm looking at it, is decent enough, but there's no objective down there. No objective anywhere, really. Besides this top tower that they can't really defend at all. Theo is going to take that one easy peasy lemon squeezy. As maybe Kane just wants to take the entire, or Udyr's entire jungle. Very doable, but with Camille hovering around, Sivir and Lulu do have the ability to walk first, but Karma doesn't really seem to care about all of that. Silas on the bot side trying to find the play onto the Swain, doing a lot of damage. Both of them ult at the same time in sync. Love to see it. Who's going to do more damage, though, with it is the question. Looks like Silas is missing his E, he's missing his combo, but it doesn't matter. Champion's just too good, and that's going to be the Sivir and Lulu duo that I was talking about, where the Sivir's just allowed to do whatever he wants. It's going to be a poly going down onto the Kane, but just does not last nearly as long as it once did. Going to try to chase after the Sivir best they can, but you are more than okay trading the ADC for the support's life there, especially if it means getting even more money in the Sivir's pocket. I mean, look at that shutdown, 450 bonus gold. Just slowly but surely crawling their way back into this game, TMG, trying to make it competitive.
Yeah, doing the best they can to try and crawl back into this game. They are still down about 5,000 gold, which isn't a deficit you want to be in because it's kind of been the same since about 10 minutes. But hang on, we might see something here with this Fiora and Camille.
Yeah, uses that hook shot to get away. The Fiora is running as fast as she can, does drop that ultimate. All of a sudden, the Camille has to fight back if she wants to live, but it's just too easy for the Fiora to absolutely run her down. Here comes the Sivir trying to do something in the mid lane, but here comes Kane to stop any of that nonsense. But the question is, how much can they realistically stop? I mean, look at all the damage that the Sivir is allowed to pump out. Kraken Slayer is an item that she has, but she's just not hitting nearly as much as she should. That's a great sidestep from the Kane to get away from those chains. As soon as he gets over the wall, he is out of there.
Yeah, the Silas has been a little unfortunate with his chains. It seems like everyone just is perfectly sidestepping, but hang on, there's going to be a weird interaction here with this Udyr trying to kill this Fiora, but Fiora's just like, nah, I don't care, I'll stay under tower.
Yeah, but that's going to be a teleport coming out from Camille, and now that they actually have, that's a great riposte onto the Udyr. It just does not matter because there are 3 people that she has to deal with, and she gets shut down as well. Silas is going to pick himself up. Yet another shutdown. We take a look at the gold here. Actually, wait just a second. Caitlyn is getting popped like a balloon. Will they be able to find anything onto this Karma? They're absolutely running her down. Get some speed up from that Lulu. I believe the Silas also used a Mantra E, possibly, from the Karma. Gets knocked up as well. Here comes Kane. He's going to try to 1v9 this one right here. Does have 2 more members to help him out with it, though. But that's a lot of damage on him. Karma gets absolutely melted. All they have to do now is hit the Kane. They're fighting on top of a Swain there. Makes it very scary. Look at all that damage that Kane is pumping out. Camille, hookshot onto the Kane. Kane does have a lot of life steal, but that's a Cho'Gathar right on that Q ability. But Swain is still ripping through the enemy team. Yes, the Kane was a big part of that damage, but Swain is allowed to scale up into this mid game. And he has not had a lot of answers in this one. As Fiora and him will get the bot tower, maybe even get a little bit more. Don't think they're going to be allowed to do so, though. Maybe take the Gromp on their way out. That would be about as much as they could take. That's exactly what they'll do.
Yep, definitely want to say that was a good job from True Minded to take out the Kane, but unfortunately Swain is currently scaled just a little bit further ahead than this Silas has, so whenever he pops his ult, it's just not a great scenario you want to be in.
So, I actually think that Silas is stronger right now than the Swain just based on gold alone. It's just that the fact that Swain was allowed to do it, he was standing around like 5 people at one point, I think, or at like four at the very least. So he's sucking the life out of 4 people, and when you're on a Swain or like you're facing a Swain, you cannot be clumped up like that. You cannot. It's like giving a Vladimir a 4 5 man ultimate. It's just so much damage. Oh goodness, what's happening? So much damage, so much damage, so much lifesteal as well that you get from just a single ability, and especially on Swain now. Before, you could kind of fight, you could kind of just pop him, you could fight it out when he's ulting. It is scary. You do usually want to wait it out, but it would end eventually, even if you were fighting him. But now it lasts as long as you're fighting him, which is absolutely terrifying to deal with. And this is a bold decision without your Fiora TP, I must say.
Yeah, especially since your Fiora is all the way down on the bot lane. I mean, you are doing your job of split pushing, but if Fiora doesn't have TP and all of a sudden you need her, she just kind of has to go, "Nope, sorry team, down here, do your own thing, bye."
I do think though, if you look at like how the team like the teams stack up against each other, I actually think the 4v5 is pretty okay for the side of Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian to take. I think going for that 4v5 is not incredibly troll. But either way, Fiora finally gets in a place where she can pressure this tower. And something that I actually don't really like how TLB are playing this. I think they should be much further up. I think that Sivir being gone and backing in Vision is a huge Baron call. I think recalling and resetting is the worst decision you could ever make right now. Instead, they're going to make a play onto this Camille, try to kill her. They're doing this full well knowing that you're giving up the Baron. You have to be okay with it. You have to give this to someone who needs the gold. They end up giving it over to I forgot who just got it. I just saw it. I think it was the Camille. Okay. Not the best, and so I don't even know why you're pathing over here. You knew that you were giving the Baron for this play.
Oh.
Easy smite for the Kayn. Maybe you can end up catching them out, run them down on really bad recalls. But I think that would be a very strange decision to make. Kayn is in a rather interesting situation. That's going to be a Zanya's from the Silas. Silas is living for as long as he can, but that's just too much damage from the Camille. Now it's a full fight. Swain is running as fast as he can to get to this one. He's actually just straight up going to the mid lane. That is so much lifesteal that this Kayn has. He flashes forward, gets under the tower. This is a really bad spot for TMG to be in. They have to start running towards the Kayn. Kayn is very low. One more auto would have done it, but it's just not there. That's going to be the pull down. That's going to be the ace in the hole landing onto the Udyr. Swain is here to 1v9 the game away. Is doing so much damage. Lulu, that's going to be the one that they're able to chase down and kill. Why are you chasing these kills? TMG is just never legal. Take your kill bot lane. The Baron you pretty much said bye-bye to, but it doesn't seem like they understood that that was not a real play that they could go for up in the top lane there.
Yeah, and especially now that the mid laner's just not responding, they don't have their support. Udyr has to back. This is going to be a free siege. I don't think they get inhibitor here just because of all the respawns coming through, but I do believe they get this tower.
Yeah, it does seem like they'll be able to easily claim the tower here, as now they will start fleeing the scene of the crime, as it's looking pretty over, I'd say, for the side of TMG. I mean, there's still a Dragon Soul on the table, right? You can still deny that from the enemy team. It's just going to be so incredibly hard. I mean, you look at how ahead almost everybody in the game is on the side of, wait a second, Fiora in a very risky position. The Swain ultimate is being used. That's a lot of lifesteal from the Fiora, but is it enough? No, it's not. The Silas is going to be able to take her down with that Swain ultimate, as now Kayn is on the flank trying to look for a play here. Will he be able to do it? He does get sped up, but it's not a real play that he's allowed to look for. Gonna try to siege this tower down and does so easily. All of a sudden, the Sivir's in a very bad spot, has to get ulted away by this Lulu. Here comes the re-engage, though, with the Udyr. Swain's going to go ahead and pop his ultimate. All they got to do is wait it out, and it is perfectly fine. Maybe they can go for a play afterwards. Caitlyn is very far up, forces the flash for no reason. And all of a sudden, they are playing on the back foot. But they know exactly when to cut their losses, playing this one well. They go ahead and back, and they are none the worse for wear, besides, of course, being down their ADC's flash.
Unfortunately, ADC being down their flash is not a situation you kind of want to be in, but you are up so much gold. You're just kind of like, yeah, this is fine. I mean, we almost have a 10,000 gold lead. Dragon's going to be up in about 30 seconds, so it's going to be a nice big pit fight to determine if this is going to be soul point or not.
Yeah, we'll see just how well that one goes. You gotta imagine though that TLB are looking a lot better for this fight. I mean, they're up what 9K gold, something along those lines. It's not a great look for TMG. It feels really bad to have to fight into this enemy team. I just like how much damage the headshot does from the Caitlyn. The Silas is not so hot, not doing too hot right now. Even has some armor from that Zanya's Hourglass, as the Caitlyn is just peppering them with auto attacks. The Mantra Q is going to land. That's going to be a Mantra E that she's not able to use, though. They're engaging. That's going to be Lulu going down. That's going to be Udyr going down. Caitlyn's on the backline, kiting away so easily. Silas cannot engage on that one at all. They are running for the hills. That is a 4-4-0 play. That could be the end of the game if they had it in them. I think they could honestly just run to the top lane, run through mid lane, just take everything they want, but they're going to do it a little bit more methodically, right? They're going to go bot lane, they're going to get this bot tower, bot inhib, mid inhib, maybe even get the top inhib. I think that would be a little bit more difficult for them to do, but the other two things that I said, very reasonable.
Yeah, I respect leaving Kane behind to take care of the dragon. He can do it by himself, especially since Udyr is just now respawning. Caitlyn is going to be able to take down that inhibitor, and now it's just a matter of can they farm this bot tower fast enough.
It's going to be a little bit riskier. I do think it's very doable, though. Fiora can start walking. The Udyr actually just wants to run them down. That's going to be the ultimate from the Lulu. Lulu taking a lot of damage. So much kiting coming through from this Caitlyn. Caitlyn kiting to hell and high water. It's just not enough damage. They actually do find the Swain. Camille is running away. That's going to be a top lane kill probably for the Fiora here. One more kill would have done it. Will she be able to live, though? She flashes away. Should be able to make it out. Meanwhile, they want to go in. They want to try to do everything in the world to find this kill. Ace in the hole is going to land onto the Lulu. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from somebody. Maybe. I think it was actually a Mantra E from the Silas to get them out of here. Fiora, meanwhile, split pushing, winning that 1v1 in the top lane. That tower dive means that she gets to take that tower. The top lane is gapped in this one because of that Fiora pick coming back. Yes, the Kane put in a lot of work, but honestly, let's think about how the top lane matchup went, and it was Fiora all day, receiving almost no help, right, in this top lane.
Yeah, Fiora just doing a really good job by herself. I mean, like we stated, the one trick Fiora doing her job, doing exactly what she needs to do when she needs to do it. And now that she even has Mountain Soul, she's going to be even harder to kill than she already was.
Absolutely. Caitlyn picking up 8 kills in this game as well means that she is a force to be reckoned with. Cannot stress that one enough either. The Kane being 8-2, combining for a total of 16 kills, jungle and ADC, means that if they are on the map, you have to be scared. I think Kane a little bit more so just because he's so much harder to kill. And Caitlyn, also a very mobile ADC, especially with that Gale Force, means that she feels almost impossible to kill as well. You don't have a lot of pure diving tools, and your best dive tool, right, is that Camille, who has to answer the Camille in these side lanes.
Yep, and the Baron has spawned. Caitlyn is going to be poking away at this Baron, and we're going to be seeing if True Minded can actually do anything about this.
Camille answering the Fiora in the side lanes. I believe I misspoke earlier, as we will see. The Camille misses the hook shot. Meanwhile, they're trying to get onto the backline. The Fiora is kiting her way out of this one. Meanwhile, Sivir is free hitting, flashes forward, trying to find the kill. The Caitlyn is down, but here comes Kane and Swain with the AoE. That's going to be the Swain finally going down. Fiora has arrived as well with the teleport, as they will run down the opposition, and they will run towards mid lane to end this game. First one up is going to be Lulu in 23 seconds. Next one after that is going to be Sivir in 30. It is not going to be close. All they have to do is bust these towers, and I think they're going to do a pretty easy job of that one. Here they come. They're on to the first Nexus tower. Once the Fiora gets here, is absolutely shredding them down. On to the next one. The Lulu is alive. What can she do, though, is the question of the day. Maybe poly somebody. That is about all you could ask for. It gets flashed on, is playing for the KDA, and will not be able to save the Nexus anyway, as Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian go up 1-0 in game number 1.
Yep, definitely looking like a very solid game one, especially when they were up, what was it, 8-0 at 10 minutes? Looking very clean for Tenebris.
Yeah, it was a rather clean game number one. I cannot sing the praises of this team enough. I mean, you look at how well the Caitlyn did, the Kane did, and the Fiora. I mean, obviously Fiora held her own. I think they really need to take the Fiora away from this player. I think it opens up the map a little bit more. But that'll have to be seen in the next draft, though, right? I don't know if you have anything more to say besides pretty huge jungle gap, though.
Yep, one that was what I was gonna say. As I predicted back in predictions, jungle gap, massive. Love to see it.
Yep.
As a jungle player, I do want to point out the Fiora did drop about 22,000 damage, which is insane for this Fiora. I mean, it is a one-trick Fiora, so we don't have much room to talk there. But highest damage overall was Swain at 28k, closely followed behind by the Sivir and Silas tied at 26k.
Yeah, just so much damage from that Swain having that AoE. I just felt like there were so many raid bosses. You focus down one, and there's a whole other champion to go through, a whole other two champions to go through, right? And then if Fiora ends up TPing in, it just feels like it's impossible because they end up TMG spends their entire kits killing one person. What do you have to use on everybody else? Pretty much nothing. So we'll see if game two is any different, but before we get into game number two's draft, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a short break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the draft. We're just getting right into it as well. We are already well underway with these three bans from both sides. We have the Fiora, the Nyla, and the Shen getting banned away from TMG. Fiora, insta-banned, love to see it. Meanwhile, TELB went ahead, got rid of the setup Misfortune and Hecarim. I actually think Hecarim is a really bad read on the meta still. A lot of people might be like, "Oh, Hecarim's still pretty broken." Hard disagree. Hard disagree. I do think Udyrs. Okay, that might be a copium pick. Not so sure about that one. And I mean, obviously, the other player, the jungler of TELB, is going to make that champion look garbage no matter what, just because of how well he was playing. But either way, maybe the Udyr is still a solid pick. It seemed like Becky thought it was. That's hype. I think TELB takes it 2-0. They did in fact change sides, as the voice in my ear whispers to me, asking if it was true.
So TLB will be on the red side. There we go. Yep. So we are going to be seeing Udyr picked first, which didn't really provide much value for True Minded last round, as we do see TLB picking up the Kindred and blocking the Mordekaiser since the Fiora got banned away. Another one of their top played characters. Unfortunately, not really their one trick, but it should be interesting seeing a Mordekaiser picked here.
So what the Mordekaiser picked up here means for me is that if you have a counter pick for the Mordekaiser, I think it's really playable because he doesn't have as good of a win rate on Mordekaiser, so he shouldn't be able to 1v1 you nearly as easily on the Fiora. Of course, that could be some copium, right? He could have actually, maybe he struggled a lot with the Mordekaiser early on. He's gotten a lot better with it. That's always possible. As that's a set locked in. That's the support right there. That's not a top laner for sure. I actually really like the set pick into Kindred. I think picking Kindred early is a really scary. The only reason I think it's ever okay is that you get a counter pick from mid lane, so you should have some mid lane prio. But if you don't have that mid lane prio, it is not going to be a good time for you in the jungle.
Now, I have seen this happen a few times, especially in my ranked games, but I have seen Kindred ADC, so this might be a
Okay,
spicy option
no,
here.
no. Kindred ADC bad. Kindred ADC is not real. He cannot hurt you.
Okay, we're gonna be seeing.
Swain's real. Swain ADC is real.
I don't know about Swain ADC. It's probably gonna be
Okay,
staying in
we
the mid
can't
lane.
say Kindred ADC is real and then
What
not
do you
say that
mean?
Swain ADC. Okay, just because it has a bow and arrow does not mean it's an ADC.
I'm pretty sure it does.
No,
You got
no.
Kindred, you got Ash. That's about it.
Oh, you don't even know Varus.
I
Then
have
now that's it.
Varus.
Now it's it. Now it's over.
There we go. Yeah, I forgot about Varus.
Okay, it is the
Every
lowest
ADC,
rank. Its auto attack range is lower than like Graves or something. Okay, that's not true, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. And then
almost.
you And then, like, how are you ever supposed to get marks without, praying that you kill the one that you happen to mark in bot lane, which you never should be able to do, right? You might have to, make an expedition to, like, Mount Doom if you want to ever get a mark if you're playing Kindred ADC, or you get lucky and it just happens to be the Scuttlecraft that's above you. That's, like, as lucky as it gets, though. And then you're just, like,
You
playing
just keep
RNG
marking your.
simulator.
If you're playing Kindred ADC, you just mark your opponents in the
Okay,
lane.
yeah,
Then you
but
go,
like
oh, you're dead.
when you ever kill the opponent as Kindred ADC, I'll give you a hint. The answer is
All of the
never.
time.
That was
Because we're going to
close.
be seeing Twitch.
Okay.
And one thing I
No.
want to point out
No.
is
Stop.
no, hang on. Yumi is still on the table, so we could be seeing a Twitch Yumi bot lane, the invisible runaround strat.
Okay, if I'm Kindred and my bot lane genuinely locks in Twitch Yumi, I am AFKing the game. This is a dodge. If your bot lane, if your top lane, okay. Never
Look,
mind, bro. What is that? Never mind. I like if I'm Kindred, I just got so hyped. I was like, oh my god, they took away Lulu because like Twitch exists on the map, and they gave Caitlyn the worst lane partner known to man. Whew. I thought this was gonna be a hard game for a second, and then like now it's easy. Now it's really easy. I cannot like explain to you how easy this game is. If you're TELB. For TMG, it's like impossible though.
I
Kongman's gone. I was like, where's Kongman? Nah,
I
do you
was
do you
laughing on my
also
keyboard.
disagree with Lulu Caitlyn? Because I feel like everybody probably should disagree with Lulu Caitlyn. It's not
Listen,
good.
listen. First, I was laughing at the Lulu pick, and then I heard your reaction. And why is there no Moo? I don't
Oh
like
god,
this.
it got worse. It got worse. Okay.
There was
Oh
a
my god. Oh
free
my god. Oh my god.
Twitch Yumi angle
Okay,
they're
okay,
like
okay,
Twitch
okay.
Mumu.
Twitch Yumi bet. Twitch Yumi bet. I actually think Twitch Amumu is like playable. I think it's playable. It's not Caitlyn Lulu, which is the good news. In fact, because it's Caitlyn Lulu, Twitch Amumu is actually playable. Like that.
Yep.
That's what makes it funny. And also, I think their team fight is so much better. I think TMG just gets hard out drafted purely because like if you replace Lulu with like even Thresh, who like I think is like a D tier champion right now. You don't even have to land your hooks. You just play Lantern all game, and it's actually a playable. The game is playable. You picked Lulu though, so it's like I guess we're playing for something that's not lane,
Um,
and I don't know what
I
that could possibly be.
I guess Lulu can give the attack speed buff to, I don't know, Deer if he ever gets close enough? Question mark? Massive question mark? Like giant question mark ping right here.
Are we still? How are you? Are you just drawing in the air?
Yeah, because we don't have the pen from last week.
Well, that's tough.
I miss it.
I'm glad that we don't have it anymore. You
I
used
want
it
it
too
back.
much. Yeah, I know. As for those who might be wondering what the pen is, we had this really cool software, this super exclusive software where we could like draw on the screen, and like you guys could see the drawings. I don't know who was there for last week, but if you were, you probably saw Kongman drawing smiley faces over the mini map or something,
Was not on the mini map.
or like devil ears
Remember.
on me.
Okay, listen. You mentioned jumping off a cliff, so I drew someone jumping off a cliff. For the people who didn't, for the people who don't
There you
listen to the
go.
stream, people who
Right.
just
So the
observe
people
the
who are
stream.
only looking, they're just like, what's going on the stream? But anyway,
Exactly.
I want to say both sides are ready. Oh, we need to say that production is ready. I'll say it. They were waiting for us. Whoopsie. Sorry, guys. Sorry. They were probably they actually felt bad because they actually started draft a little bit early, and then they had a good reason for it, and I respect that. We were being silly though, and didn't tell them that we were ready now. So you know what? Maybe they should just always ready up and just like say screw production. I actually like that decision a little bit more. Keep us on our toes, you know.
That is very true. And now we're waiting for them to actually start the game, which
Now it's not our
seems to
fault.
be. Yeah, now it is not our fault. As I mean, I guess we can talk about these comps just a little bit more, even though there's not much to talk about. If we're being honest. I personally believe Swain is really good in the Cassiopeia here. I feel like Cassio hasn't done anything in like a year and a half. If we're being honest.
I mean,
Okay.
no, I was gonna actually agree with you and say like, what does Casio do against literally anybody on this team who's not named Kindred or Amumu? Like, no one else dashes at all, and then like even even the Amumu dash is like it's so long range. I don't think Cassiopeia is ever actually going to be allowed to get that off in a reasonable spot. So all you're really doing is using it for Kindred, which is pretty useful. But you're only countering one champion, and it's not even a champion that you're going to be interacting with for most of the early game. You'd have to imagine anyway, right? So
Yep, and we are going to be seeing the teams lock in their champion, seeing where exactly everything is going. It should be pretty straightforward. I do think it is going to be interesting seeing this set into the Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser could just pull him into the Shadow Realm, but then Set can just go, all right, I'm going to flip you over in here instead. Definitely going to be interesting to see how this Fiora one trick playing a Mordekaiser will handle it. Couldn't go any way, honestly.
we call him a Fiora one trick. I feel like we do have to put a little bit of respect on his name because he has 232 games of Mordekaiser played this season. Which,
My God.
yeah. So it's like he's a one trick in a way, but he still has a lot of time on the champion. He just can't climb with it to save his life. Who knows
Okay.
why? Like, I
You think
mean, I
after
just
200 games you would have a positive win rate?
he has a positive win rate. He just has a
Oh, he does.
1.91 KDA.
Okay, that's not great.
No. Okay, but to be fair, his Fiora KDA is like 1.36. So like where I don't know where it's adding up. I don't know if it's just like the most unlucky games he's had ever known to man, which I don't know if that's possible because I have those. Those are my games, not his. My games are unlucky. His, like I'm the only one who ever has unlucky games. And then you also look at last season when he had. Sorry, the one where he had like a crazy amount of Fiora games wasn't last season. I believe it was 2 seasons ago. Okay, yeah, it was 2 seasons ago. And last season on the Mordekaiser, he had a 46% win rate on the champion. And that was, he also had a 56% win rate on the Fiora, just to give you an idea of like the proficiency on the champions there, at least in terms of last season. This season, he seems pretty hell bent on getting good at this Mordekaiser and being like, all right, guys, I am not a one trick. I can definitely play Mordekaiser. I got this. I promise. And we'll see how true that is, right?
Yeah, it should definitely be interesting to see what happens.
Okay, but this one's funny. This one, I want you to guess what his Kindred win rate is without looking at it. This is from. It's from. I think it's from this. It's from this season.
Okay, my hands are up here, so you know I'm not cheating by trying to like alt tab into it, scroll wheel into it. Let's see. You want me to guess?
Not
Let's see.
not 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 the Kindreds, not flimsy fences win rate. The top laner's Kindred win rate,
The top laner's Kindred.
which doesn't matter at all. It's just a really funny stat.
Okay, if it's a funny stat, then it's got to be 69.
No,
Okay, then I'm gonna guess like 78, some ridiculously high number.
no,
Higher?
no, no,
Oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. Okay,
yeah,
23.
no, lower,
Lower? 7.
lower,
2.
higher.
Oh, higher. 5.
5. He has a 5% win rate on
Nice.
Kindred, which is like, I don't know. And it's not like he played it like, he has to play it a good time for it to ever be 5%, right? He played it like
That's
19
what?
times.
What is that? Like 1 in 20?
He's like 1 in 18 on the champion.
Oh my god.
1 in 19 or something.
Bro, usually if I try to
It says
learn a
1 in 18.
champion and I have like 5 bad games in a row, I'm like, yeah, this character's just
I'm
not for me.
done.
Put
I'm
it
done.
away.
I'm not playing the champion. Like that's tenacity right there. That is impressive. If anything, like I couldn't lose like 2 games on a champion and go like, all right, I'm gonna keep playing this champion. Those are probably like the 4 fun games. Let's be honest. He's just like, oh, I got jungle this game. Let's do it. I'm gonna play Kindred. I'm gonna have a fun time. And like
And then you get rolled.
if you don't like, Kindred's also one of those champions. You gotta have like teammates you can kind of trust or just really know your boundaries. If you don't, well, we'll see if Flimsy Fence knows those boundaries, which I'm sure he probably, knows them at least a little bit better, right? And I'm excited to see if he can go ahead and make use of that champion in stride. But before we get into game number 2 here, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 2 of the series between True Minded Gaming and Tenebrous Esports Labyrinthian. On the blue side, we have TMG, and on the red side, we have He Who Shall Not Be Named. And we will see how well they do in this invade. It looks like it is going to start popping off here. Here comes the Amumu, or the Twitch will go ahead and go in first. And he gets in real close. That's going to be the flash for Flash. Caitlyn has to flash away. Amumu trades his right there, starts that Q. It'll be a-okay to do so. I really like the path that the Twitch took as well. As already, TELB are looking pretty solid to start out this one.
Yeah, I definitely believe trading the support flash for the ADC flash is a big value for Tenebrous.
Yeah, I would.
And we see Set doing sit-ups in the bush before he goes and helps Udyr with his leash. Always work on your abs, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Caitlyn had to start E as well, as what production was just telling us, which is not good. Not good
Nope.
at all. That is that is not what you want to see. Even getting it second would be pretty bad. Actually, in this lane, it's probably the best option you could do, or like, or not the best, but like a reasonable option because you don't really have any lockdown CC for the trap anyway, as that's going to be a very low Lulu in just a second. They are doing a lot of damage to her. That's going to be the second Q that pops off as well, as yes, the Caitlyn does trade back, but all in all, that is one low Lulu. Does pop, but it is such a sad day to be the Lulu. Popped both pots, actually, so it should just get to full HP. Not sure if that's necessarily worth. Could have just waited a little bit, played a little safe, just naturally regen, but wants to play it a little bit safer, and we'll see if that ends up paying off or not.
It's going to be very interesting to see, as on the top lane, it is just kind of a skirmish match. Mordekaiser is currently winning the CS lead because Set did have to start leashing the Udyr.
And that's going to be a pretty nice little bit of damage from the Mordekaiser. Now we see the Sets just smacking away onto that enemy top laner. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, that's going to be a lot of damage that's going down onto the Cassiopeia as Swain is popping off down there. And he popped off in game number 1 as well, so highly doubt we're going to see anything different in game number 2, although I have been wrong. I have been surprised before.
Yeah, I do also want to point out, Swain has so much lane priority at the moment, he was able to actually ward.
Oh, that's a flash forward from Flimsy, and that's going to be first blood going over to the Kindred, and I believe that that was a mark as well, and getting the mark is a huge deal for Kindred. Once you get 4 marks, you are such a terrifying champion to deal with. Could end up pathing down to that Scuttlecrab. I want to say that Udyr has already taken, and if he hasn't, this could be a bad situation. Actually, Twitch and Amumu just want to walk up towards the Scuttlecrab, and all of a sudden Udyr's like, oh, this is bad. The Scuttlecrab is getting taken for free, and I can't gank this. Wow, this is a disaster, honestly. And he's actually going to get spotted out on that ward, so that's just a pretty standard double Scuttle. Udyr playing for the gank, not really understanding what the enemy jungler wanted to accomplish there, nor the enemy bot lane, so kind of just a knowledge gap there in the jungle.
As I said back during the original desk predictions, jungle diff.
Yeah, kind of. Just a tad there. As that's going to be the Mordekaiser, who is going to be taken very low, as Set is winning this matchup pretty handedly. And I think that this is honestly where Udyr should have been pathing. He should have been pathing towards that top side 100%, play it for this Set to get ahead. Instead, Set has to have burned his teleport to get back to lane when he was killed earlier. And, you know, you look at the bot lane, and this is actually one that should just win naturally, which is really what should never happen. And if you can maybe get the Caitlyn snowballing, it's doable. They don't have a lot of vision, so this could be a bad situation. That's going to be a Q not available for the Amumu. Amumu gets one off. Will get taken down here, as now the Twitch has to run for his life, has to flash away. The Caitlyn is getting closer. The heal is finally popped. Peacemaker not available, as Twitch is forced to use both sums to escape. Flash and heal both down on him. Meanwhile, Caitlyn's flash will be up very soon. The cleanse will be available as well. Luckily for the Amumu, he's going to have his flash up as well sooner than later, as well as that exhaust. So hopefully that will not happen to them again down in the bot lane.
I did also want to point out Cassiopeia did TP back into the mid lane, so her TP is going to be down for just a little bit. Swain does have to walk back into lane, but he is currently down about 4 CS. But I personally think Swain is just the better mid laner in this scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. As we will see the set go ahead and clear this entire wave out pretty easily. Meanwhile, will the Cassiopeia be able to clear out this entire wave? Probably not. Or actually, no, it's a pretty big wave, so the Swain won't be able to really do anything about this, especially with all those E's she's allowed to pump out. Gonna go ahead and get a pretty nice recall off, maybe even a roam as well for some vision. At the very least, get the Scuttle Crab as well with the Udyr. Unless Kindred wants to contest it with her mid laner and her bot lane as well. I think they do have a little bit more power. Unless Swain, of course, takes about half his HP to this trade going down in mid lane here.
Yep, and it does appear Udyr is going to get the Scuttle for the first time this game.
I think Kindred might be in an illegal position. Caitlyn is on the flank here. That could make it doable. Here comes the Swain. All of a sudden, this is a very split fight for the side of TMG. All of a sudden, it looks pretty good for the opposing side. Devil Milk Tea will go down to the Swain. Basically a 1v1 right there. Here comes the Caitlyn. Caitlyn wants to try to get this kill. A lot of damage coming through. The Peacemaker lands. One more autos ought to do it. There it is. The Amumu goes down. Will the Caitlyn be able to kite out of this one? That's so much damage that this Kindred is allowed to do. Flash was available. Will get away. The Qs are not enough. Peacemaker will just barely swing wide as Caitlyn finds herself another kill. So far, it has just been a diff of the Caitlyn in both games.
Yeah, Caitlyn is currently a pretty strong ADC, but hang on, Mordekaiser is going to be fighting Set in the realm, and Set might actually die here.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually wanted to go ahead and find this. Set does not have his ultimate available. That's why it was so doable. That's an easy solo kill for the Mordekaiser, who says, yeah, try to ego pick me again, and I will shut you down. 0-2 in the top lane for the Set. The flat, no.
Question mark?
No. As here comes the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is going to make this a little bit of a difficult situation. Here comes the Udyr as well to make sure that the Cassio does not die. Cassio trying to find the play, trying to find the damage. Here comes the Udyr, who should do a good job of that one. No flash available for the Amumu means he is in a very tight spot. Meanwhile, the Kindred over the wall trying to find something. So much damage coming down. Twitch is going to get solo killed down in the bot lane. Lulu helped out at least a little bit with it, as now that should be an easy dragon take. All of a sudden, though, Udyr in a bad situation. Nice sidestep from him, though. A lot of damage coming down. Kindred can hop over the wall, find the kill, but the smite gives him enough health back, so maybe he could just run away. The Cassiopeia does get taken down. Kindred maybe biting off too much more than she could chew. Ace in the hole will land, does take her down to 1 HP, but the ultimate was available. She was never in any real danger, just knew that ability would not kill.
Yeah, I do want to point out, currently Amumu is still level 4, and was honestly doing a really good job just tanking quite a bit of damage during that river fight.
Oh my goodness, look at the CS difference in the ADCs.
Oh, that is quite the difference.
What in the world? I don't know how that's physically possible, honestly.
I had to reset my scoreboard because I saw like 3-0, and I'm like, well, that's not so bad. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's very wrong. I want you, you combine the kills as well. That's 3 kills to Twitch's 0, and then you actually hit the, look at the gold. Caitlyn's up 1,500 gold. She has Gale Force. Twitch has a recurve bow and a sword.
Yeah, this is a kind of an ADC moment.
It is a massive bot. I'm willing to say it's the entire bot lane, because the Lulu pick's actually working out really well for them. The pressure that the Amumu should be exerting is actually negligible, because he just keeps using his summons off of cooldown and gets pretty much nothing with them. Yes, they stumbled into getting Caitlyn Flash earlier, but when you miss the Q entirely, you don't even get the cleanse either. it's not exactly ideal if you're playing this Amumu, and all of a sudden you have so much less pressure in this lane. I mean, you manage to get the flash or the cleanse out of the Caitlyn, make her a pretty killable target, but all of a sudden, why would Kindred ever want to visit this lane when the top lane is going so much better? So Kindred is the only one who can really save them. That's the only real reason that you have for ganking the bot lane now, is like maybe you can shut down Caitlyn, but it's a pretty 2v3able situation at this point down in the bot lane for the side of TMG.
As we do see, it appears that Tenebris is getting dove in the bot
Oh
lane, but
my
hang on, this
goodness.
set is taking too much damage, and this Mordekaiser CS diff is kind of massive in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a very similar CS difference to the bot lane. It's not actually as big as for Twitch, but it's pretty close set. Not really allowed to play the game. Doesn't seem like either A, he knows the matchup, or because he died earlier, just gave up too much pressure now. Can't really play the game as easily. Those steel caps are not really helping his case either. Whereas now that's going to be the ultimate that opens up right onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn doesn't really care about it though. Does get hit by that Q. Does have that cleanse available. Finally uses it and is fighting back now. A lot of damage dropping onto the Twitch. Twitch is going to get hit by the ace in the hole. An easy double kill for the Caitlyn down in the bot lane. 5-0 for her right now, as it is a story of the bot lane for TMG in game number 2.
Yeah, TMG doing a lot better in the bot lane than they were last game. But unfortunately, this is really going to boil down to one of those, does TMG only win through bot lane?
That's a good question. And honestly, I think it's actually pretty doable based on like how insane the gold is. I mean, you look at the damage and you're like, all right, Kindred has to be the main damage threat. I mean, Twitch, even though he's going to have that range, he is a scaling champion. How much is he going to be allowed to do in these next team fights, right? I mean, Dragon is spawning in a minute. I don't really think you have the priority to contest this when you look at just how much damage you could do. You have to have Swain and Kindred absolutely pop off, assassinate the Caitlyn. But you look at the Lulu pick, which I was actually criticizing pretty heavily in draft, but I mean, if Caitlyn's allowed to stumble into 5 kills, all of a sudden having Lulu with the Caitlyn becomes incredibly valuable. I mean, you're allowed to polymorph anyone who wants to hop on top of her and find the kills, right? You're able to even whimsy her and allow her to get sped up and do even more damage. The shield allows her to have that extra little bit of damage on her auto attacks, those on-hit effects that she gets from picks. It is not fun if you are the Kindred who wants to try to find the assassination. And then, of course, on top of all this, you have the polymorph that the Lulu can pop off as well. Or you can make a play on the unsuspecting mid laner. Has flash available, by the way. It's actually going in the right direction. Victoris is going to be dropped, and that's going to be a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, though, in the bot lane, they want to go ahead and try to crack this bot tower, as the Rift Herald's only really going to get a couple plates here. Will not even get the first break. Instead, it will be taken down. That's going to be Caitlyn finding the first tower of the game with the Lulu. This could be a pincer right here. They're actually just going to go in. They have to go forward onto the Udyr. Udyr has to flash away. He will get out of there for now, but that is so much damage onto the Amumu. And guess who's here? It's Caitlyn. It's Lulu. They are cut off. Kindred and Twitch trying to get out of here. They have to go in. They have to find the play. That's going to be ultimate dropping. Amumu walks out of the Kindred ultimate. The Lamb's Respite will not be enough. That's going to be the set. Ulting finds a solo kill on the Mordekaiser. It is all TMG all across the map. Ace in the hole will not land onto the intended target. Flash away from the Swain. Here comes the Caitlyn flashing forward after the net. Here comes the Twitch. He's trying to survive for as long as he can, but he just can't do it. This Caitlyn is too massive. She is carrying TMG on her back and set. Getting that solo kill in the top lane does not spell good news for the side of TELB.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have enjoyed to have seen that entire top fight. Because that was just so amazing, because I was kind of watching the health bars on the side go back and forth, and then all of a sudden we just noticed, as we flick up to the top lane, we see Set flipping the Mordekaiser into the set, getting the kill. Honestly, you'd think Mordekaiser would have won that interaction.
So here comes the TP. I don't think that this is going to be here soon enough. It actually is to save the life of the Kindred, but that's all they're able to do. And all of a sudden, Mordekaiser forced to waste his TP. Look at how good the wave was, right? You easily could have walked back into this lane, but because Kindred makes such a greedy decision for a mark, you end up having to waste your TP there. And that is so much pressure that you're giving up in the top lane for free. That's one that you, like, maybe, I don't know what the dynamic of this team is, but you gotta, like, you know, talk some sense as your jungler. Yes, she's, like, probably the best player on your team, but you gotta be like, hey, man, that's not okay. That in no world was that ever legal for you to do it. I should never have to bill you out there. And he should know that for sure.
I mean, trust me, I love playing jungle and I love trying to make these big risky plays, but especially if your team is this far behind, that's not a risky play you go for. It's usually not in a team environment. If this was like solo queue, whatever.
Yeah, and then you can flame your top laner and be like, why didn't you TP for me, bro? Like, I needed you. And it's like, what are you talking about? That's so silly. But, I mean, they are kind of thinking like it is last game, and it's definitely not. You know, yeah, sure, the set was getting dumpstered all game. He's still set, though, right? It doesn't matter if he doesn't have his ultimate. Probably was thinking that set honestly just backed instead. But, you know, he wanted to defend the Grump, defend the Mark, and... you know, Kindred does get punished for it. Luckily, though, no one dies. And that's what you got. Like, imagine if Mordekaiser has to TP and either he or Kindred dies. That's an absolute disaster for them. But luckily, that's not the world that we live in. At least, luckily, for Tenebris Esports libraries. Labyrinthian.
There you go. I love how you're just finding many different ways to pronounce this team name.
Oh, I could come up with more. Just give me a second. Oh my god, I just got a really good one. Alright, you ain't ready. You ain't ready.
Probably not. As we're going to be watching Udyr clear a control warp, and there's a fight in the mid lane. Oh, this is just free realistic for Caitlyn.
Yeah, it absolutely is. She can just take this tower, just set up the traps, and they can't go in. Or they can go in anyway. They use that ultimate to get the Udyr stuck under tower. That's a lot of damage that does go down onto the Caitlyn, but how much does it really matter? Look at all that lifesteal that she gets as well. I don't even know what she has that has lifesteal. I'm pretty sure she has some runes. She has to, because no natural lifesteal in her kit, nor is there any in her build, so that's a little funny, a little silly. Does have the red buff though, ticking down. As we will see, Swain could get caught out here. Maybe the Scuttle Crab will be taken away. Instead, Kindred not really allowed to get those marks, and it was looking really good for Kindred farming those marks, but all of a sudden, because the team fell behind, it is just not allowed.
I'm trying to quickly look through the build, because whenever I hover Caitlyn, she has 6% lifesteal.
Yeah, it has to be from runes. Oh, hey, Kindred in a bad spot yet again. Does have that ultimate to stop her from dying. It doesn't matter. She will go down. Doesn't even bother using it. Knows that she is just absolutely gone. That'll be the Rift Herald going down as well. Caitlyn wants to just keep farming kills on the enemy team. Don't know how allowed that really is, as Rift Herald will be taken down. Meanwhile, the Cassiopeia is looking for the blue buff. We'll get it. You can't go through that if someone's hitting you, you silly goose. As now trying to 1v1 the Swain. Swain is ulting, but Cassiopeia was running him down, runs out of mana. All of a sudden, it's just not doable. Does use a little bit more mana to ult the Twitch. Twitch does not get the kill. That could be disastrous. Just trying to farm the amount of kills that they can get onto the Swain. Swain is going to be the one that has to carry this game.
Yep, I feel like on the side of Labyrinthians, it's really going to come down to either Swain or maybe even the Mordekaiser to bring this one back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one. We'll see what this Mordekaiser can do. Probably not too much more. If you can like keep poking down the set, maybe it is doable. A Mumu with a roam as well would be funny, but I doubt that's going to be the case. Instead, the Rift Herald will be dropped, and there's not enough damage that you can do to this Rift Herald before it destroys your tower. And set will be like, all right, zippity doo dah day, I'm right on out of here. And we'll go ahead and back on towards the base.
Yep, it will be interesting to see what happens here, as we do have Hex Dragon spawning in about 15 seconds. I do believe this should be free for True Mind, as much as I would really like to see Labyrinthians pick this one up. Kindred, you're on the wrong side of the map.
No, it's okay. They're not contesting this dragon ever. And I think they kind of like understand that. They're like, all right, guys. Oh, no, they do want to contest this. What? That's a teleport coming through from Mordekaiser. It is actually doable. Caitlyn is collecting the wave in mid lane. Oh boy, here comes Thomas Edison's light bulbs. They are taking the fight. They get a nice ultimate from the Amumu. That's a lot of damage that they're able to do. But Caitlyn has rejoined the fight, and Cassiopeia is pumping out these left and right. Udyr is able to secure the dragon, but at what cost? He's gonna live? No, he's not. The Kindred is going to take him down. Lulu gets absolutely wiped off the face of Summoner's Rift. Here comes the Cassiopeia, trying to do as much damage as possible. Will the Kindred be able to find a kill? Yes, she will, with the help of her team, and that is a disaster for Huh? Where'd she go? Where'd the Kindred go?
Kindred? Okay, can someone poke Kindred with the stick real quick?
Where'd she go? She disappeared.
I believe Kindred died due to the hands of a Leandris.
I think so too, but she was so healthy. She was so vibrant and full of life. I don't know where she went.
But by the way, I love that team name.
Thank you. I thought it worked really well, especially if you look at the acronym.
Yes, TEL.
Yes, TELB specifically. I got the B into account. Okay. Yeah, light bulbs. As we will see exactly what TMG can do to make sure that TELB don't come back into this one, because that should never be allowed in this game. I mean, you look at how fed your Caitlyn is, right? I don't know why you ever, in a million years, go to catch that one. There is no world. I don't care if it's 20 minions that are under that tower and you get them all. You do not give over the entire dragon, because what you end up giving away there is you actually don't end up giving up the dragon. You should have given up the dragon is what should have ended up happening there. So the dragon should have gotten stolen, let's be honest. And then you end up giving about 3 kills worth of gold to the enemy team. I think you could have just not gotten the wave. I think that was fine. And the idea is like, oh, let's get Cryo in mid lane. You don't need Cryo. You are all set up in the Dragon Pit already. As Twitch trying to get a free kill onto the set. Set has that W ready though. Taken down on his shield. That's a lot of poison. It is still going strong. Now Cassiopeia is fighting for her life against the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser might be able to win it, or will he? Gets taken down as here comes Udyr. Here comes the set. The ultimate from him. A double kill for the top laner of TMG, True Minded Gaming, popping off in game number 2 as they needed their set to be making these big plays. Here comes Udyr trying to run down the opposition. Will the Kindred get away? Doesn't have that shorter cooldown on that Q anymore. Has one more left, and it will be enough to get away for now.
Yep, it is definitely going to be interesting. I do believe this is going to be a free Baron for True Minded. I don't see a world in which the Kindred steals this unless they attempt to murder flip here, which instead they're going to be taking the Raptors and just kind of give this one away.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty free Baron for the side of True Minded Gaming. They easily take that one away, as the Scuttle Crab will be secured by them as well. Meanwhile, Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian having a hard time in this one. Their Swain is their win condition. That cannot be overstated enough. I mean, here comes the Udyr trying to find something. They know that something's up here, but it's not really a play that they're allowed to go for. Not even worth going for either, because there's no objective on the map. And getting a kill 1 minute 30 seconds before Dragon, kind of worthwhile, but finding one a little bit closer to that objective being up would be much more important. Okay, well, speaking of a pick, Twitch is getting demolished. Ultimate, don't know if it was even necessary, but he decides to not waste any time finding that kill, as I don't think Twitch lasted more than 4 seconds in that fight. My goodness.
I believe the set ulted to send a message, and oh, Kindred.
He might have, and then Kindred has heard that message loud and clear. Here comes Yamumu though. They want to try to find the play. Here comes the set. He is getting very low. W is available. He is going to land it onto the Kindred. Kindred does have that ultimate available, so he's in no danger of dying. That's a huge shutdown. Here comes Yamumu. Yamumu does not have his ultimate available. Curse of the Sad Mummy is not gonna come in. The Mordekaiser is just taking so much damage. You know, on the top line, Cassiopeia, of all people, is split pushing, and guess who's not here? No teleport available for the Dragon that's coming up in 30 seconds. That is Swain. Swain is the one who's forced to deal with this. Kindred forced to flash away as well. If they can find this pick before the Dragon, that is the soul that's going to go over to the enemy team. Ace in the hole is available. It's going to be fired up. It's going to find the kill as well. Twitch trying to find the kill into Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is fighting back. So much life steal. Finds one. Finds two. 2v1 for the Cassiopeia. Pays for it with her life. But that is more than worthwhile for the mid laner of TMG.
This Cassiopeia pick is doing a lot more than I honestly thought it was, because I can't even recall the last time I've seen a Cassiopeia pick to VRS, let alone LCS.
Yeah, I mean, it is doing a lot better than I thought it would as well. I'm in the same boat with you there. But I mean, like, who's the real hero of this game? It's Caitlyn. It is definitely Caitlyn. I don't even quite remember how, like, in what. I think there's a bug in the chat. I don't know. I don't think the stream can see it, but it says the red team has claimed Hextexel, and that gave me pause for a moment. Because that's not true.
Unless we've been lied to this whole time.
Little did we know that the entire map has been flipped around this entire time. As here comes the Kindred trying to find a play onto the set. The set is doing his best to 2v1 this, and guess who's here? It's Cassiopeia onto the flank. Amumu is going to help his team manage to survive this. But if it turns into an all-out brawl, here comes the Caitlyn to send a message as well. Amumu's going to miss that Q. The red buff is going to be secured by the Kindred, who smites it away. Will they be able to do anything more than this? Continue. It does not look like it. Swain and the rest of the side of Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian are in a solid spot to contest any engage that does end up coming through. And TMG kind of set that one out. They're going to go ahead and play it a little bit safe for it now. This isn't real. This is not a real play, as Kindred says, oh, set got into the bush. It's not doable anymore. And they spend a lot of time dealing with whatever that was. And instead, the mid lane tower will be taken. The next one is on the mark as well, which has a flank. We'll see how useful it is. I think this is the play that they have to go for. They can find any CC onto this Caitlyn. They are finding none. Caitlyn frontlining does not give a crap about the world in front of her. Is doing whatever she wants, dodging away from pretty much everything. It is not looking great for Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian.
Besides obviously killing this 9-0-1 Caitlyn and hopefully giving it to the Twitch to get him back into this game, what does Labyrinth need to do here?
Pray for something like this and then go in on it, but I mean, look how fast he is. He just can't be hit with any CC after that. He's CC immune. Here comes Udyr trying to find a play. That's going to be a nice stun onto the Swain. Will it be enough, though? It's going to be so much damage. Curse of the Sad Mummy finds 3, but he's just going to get popped like a balloon. Kindred trying to live now. Has Lamb's Respite available, but does not use it. Swain is running for the hills. Will get hit up by just about everything. Udyr is 1 HP. Will live, though, as Caitlyn 1v1ing flashes away. Is trying to just not die. It could be the first death of the game for her. So much damage coming through. So many shields. And she will live somehow, some way, and is on to Nexus Tower number 1. The second one is going to be hit up as well. Twitch biding his time. Maybe he'll be able to find a kill onto Caitlyn, but instead they waste no time in taking the Nexus and taking home. Game number 2 will go over to TMG.
Yeah, TMG looking a lot better into this round, and it's kind of doing a quick little breakdown. So right now in this set, Caitlyn has 100% win rate.
Yeah.
Blue side has 100% win rate. So I believe that if you just first pick Caitlyn, you are the better team.
I would probably agree with that. It does seem to ring pretty true. I am scared for how Game 3 is going to go. I would agree that I think if a team gets Caitlyn, it's just a wrap. That champion looked absolutely broken in both these players' hands. And the champions that the other ADC played looked like about as useful as a wet piece of paper. Honestly, I mean, the Sivir actually was getting kills and was getting like something. But the Twitch not so much, right?
Yeah. Now, this is the part that's making me nervous, because I've noticed there's a pattern with VRS so far this season. And I don't know if you've noticed this as well or not, Shogun. Last week, War Legion got swept in Game 1, and then they reverse swept 2-1. We predicted Dorado winning the week before. They dominated Game 1, and then proceeded to get reverse swept. What happened in Game 1 here? Tenebris rolled Game 1, and now they're getting rolled. I swear, VRS is not scripted, but it seems like all the teams have mutually agreed.
It's the ego.
Yeah.
As we are throwing it over to the desk real quick. Joining us
Yeah.
is Becca once again. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Will we
Yeah.
see the reverse sweep? Will we see the comeback from TMG after falling behind really far in game one and just having nothing to show for it across the entire game? They come back swinging in game two, and a lot of it did come down to Caitlyn being 7-0 at like 10 minutes, but you have to consider that they also just the whole team felt like a completely different unit in this game than in the first game, where they were able to get those advantages and actually make use of them. And of course, make me stay up later than I needed to tonight. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. Uh, my my lack of sleep tomorrow is gonna be real awesome. But that's all right, because we're here enjoying some League of Legends. So if Tenebris wants to pull it back, what can they do from their first game that was missing in game two to actually look to close it out?
Pick Caitlyn.
All right, step one,
Okay,
Caitlyn.
okay.
Step two, blue side.
Secure Caitlyn.
100%
Blue
undefeatable.
side. Blue side. Caitlyn. Pray they don't ban Fiora.
Okay, we're hoping our enemies are stupid. This is a great idea. This is a
It
great
is
plan.
possible.
All right, and for TMG, what do they need to look for? Because they're not gonna get blue side. So one half of the equation is gone here, and possibly both halves of the Caitlyn blue side equation are gone.
I think you.
So what can they do to respond?
I think you five head them. I think you leave both Caitlyn and Fiora up, and you go, all right, choose. Pick your poison, buddy. Pick your poison. Which one do you want, Caitlyn or Fiora? And you pray. You
Okay.
pray that TELB has the ego to pick the Fiora, and then you pick Caitlyn away, and then you never actually interact with the Fiora. You pick something that
Okay.
just like maybe can like kill her at some point. You go for another skill matchup, but you really don't actually interact with her. Don't pick a tank. Whatever you do, don't pick a tank because she will absolutely abuse the side lanes after that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could pick like Shen or like Jax or something that can
Yeah.
like fight her.
Kale.
No, no, I don't think so. That
No.
doesn't seem real. Um,
Well, listen, Shogun, we know how
actually,
much you love
actually,
Kale.
I think Kale's actually playable there. I think Kale is playable. The only reason I would be really scared for TMG to play Kale is because Fiora seems like a champion, and like this player on Fiora specifically seems like one that would solo kill the Kale on repeat. And that's not what you want. But if you could like make sure that you play with the most respect, like the most respectful game of League of Legends you ever played in your life, Kill's an option. I agree. Yeah, sure. But that's not how
Okay.
these top laners play, baby.
Okay, so top lane is going to be something we're going to be looking at in this next game. AD carry with the champions in that role as well. And supports, I think, are pretty interesting. But I think for the time being, if they're ready for draft, we could throw it right back in, but you guys need a break. So we're going to go to a quick, like, 2-3 minute break. And when we come back, we will be in draft for game 3, the deciding match of the series between Tenebris Esports Librarians and True Minded Gaming. Stick around. We'll see who'll come out on top after the break.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to the draft for game number 3, the thrilling conclusion to the series of Thunderbolt Esports Lightning Bolt versus hold on, the Magic Gathering.
Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. I hear
Okay, if
Becky
you
laughing
just
in the background.
if you
L.
like swapped M and T, it's
L.
Magic the Gathering. I think that's a dub.
Huge
It's just
L.
it's the Magic
Okay.
Gathering. It's the same thing.
Okay. Well. Speaking of the Magic, I want to point out TM has already banned away the Fiora as their first ban. So unfortunately, TM is actually going to be smart, and
You know,
it appears that the Labyrinthians are going, "Huh? We can't just pick Fiora."
I do think that there have been some pretty red bans, like the Hecarim, the Fiora, pretty red champions. But honestly, from the Lulu getting banned away, kind of I don't know what color, green, white, blue. No, blue's control. White. Someone help me.
What?
I'm talking about Magic. Silly
Yeah.
Lulu
goose.
would be white. Yeah.
What are you trying
Lulu's
to?
white. All right, see, like
Okay, white is
red.
all about
Like
life gain.
yeah, like Hecarim's a very red champion. No, I
Yeah,
feel like
very
Hecarim's.
aggro.
Yeah, see, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You just
Can't
acted
say
like you had no idea what I
no,
meant.
no. I play Magic competitively. I was just confused where you were going with your statement.
This is okay. Have you? This is like an LS thing. This guy doesn't know. He doesn't know about. He doesn't know about this. I don't know what it's even called. I don't know what he even calls it. I think it's just like Magic the Gathering and League drafting. That's all it is. And that's someone who like lived and died by this. By the way. Those were some fun drafts. Those were a good time. Let me tell you.
We
You don't
seeing this
see you didn't see
correctly
it.
for? Okay, never mind. I thought we were going to be
What?
seeing Ash locked for the
Okay, but
Labyrinthians.
okay, but Ash and Misfortune, great champions. Also, I don't know how they let Misfortune through. That was crazy. That's insane to me.
Well, what I do find interesting is that neither one of these teams have opted for Caitlyn.
Yeah,
Just want to point
because
that out. It
the
wasn't
other
banned
two
either.
broken champions. I mean, the other two broken champions also went unbanned. I mean, Misfortune way more broken than Caitlyn is, and Nyla, exists. And also, TELB went, all right, guys. Kindred was an interesting decision, but we drafted no winning lanes, so I couldn't play the game, and that is that's just a team gap. That was a that can't be a real. What are these lanes? They're gonna just stumble into like winning a lane. Okay, wait, no. Brahm's actually a really good counter to Renata. That's the idea behind it. I like that, and it's also a good counter to Misfortune. Okay. I'm more okay with it. I had to put on my thinking cap for a second and look at Braum other than what it's being paired with. It actually counters both Renata and Misfortune an insane amount. The synergy with Nyla, I think is good. All right, hot take. I think Sejuani should be slammed here.
Yes, I
So
agree.
I think Sejuani top here is huge. I think it's insanely valuable. Thoughts?
I do agree. Another top laner I think would be good that we have, for whatever reason, never seen in VRS this season, or let alone I'd think anywhere in the league, is Urgot as a top laner. I think Urgot here would also be really good, especially now that we see Olaf getting banned away. This is
Okay.
TELB's chance to slam either Sejuani or Urgot and just free win the game.
I think they're not being a trundle ban. If you're planning on locking in Sejuani, kind of scary, but like do it anyway. Who cares? No, gross.
Okay,
Boring.
if they lock Mordekaiser, you just take the free Urgot here. Urgot is so free
they
into
won't.
Mordekaiser.
I like this idea. Just to bully the enemy top laner just a little bit more. Be like, what are you gonna play? Nothing. You aren't gonna play anything. But I mean, okay. Let's actually take a look at this OP.gg since I just happen to have it up always. I think Camille into Mordekaiser is an L. I
So
think
TMG
Kennan's the only
immediately
real
locks the
option.
Mordekaiser, so it is going to be interesting to see what TL picks. You are going to look over the OPGG while I wait to see what the last picks are. I mean, he could pick the 5% win rate Kindred for
No,
top lane.
he can't. No, that's not real. He wasn't playing a top lane either. He's definitely playing it in the jungle, I think.
You never know.
You know what? Maybe it would make sense as to
TLB
why he
running
had
out of
18
time
L's
on
on
their
it.
pick. Going to be locking the Mundo. Mundo and a Mordekaiser.
Why do they
John, just
have
your
to be
reaction.
so boring? It's so
And we're gonna be seeing
boring.
Ziggs for the mid lane being
Oh,
floated.
it's so boring.
Okay. To be fair, I was about to question why there was no Swain, but I realized Swain was banned in the first round of picks, so that is 100% reasonable. Okay, Shogun is now stealing my
It's
thing that I love to do.
boring. It's Ziggs. Who cares? He clears waves. He can maybe take a tower for fun, but like it's all sleeper. It's like mid lane and top lane are like super sleeper now. Pick some, yeah, high octane game. All right, TMG, you've impressed me with this draft, not because it's necessarily good, but because it's awesome. How are you gonna sleeper on Irelia, bro? How are you gonna sleep on Irelia? You play Sejuani
Irelia.
and you play Shyvana.
Bro, Shyvana and Sejuani are
Oh,
fun.
yeah, look at me.
Irelia is here's my Irelia impression. I'm gonna stand up for this one. All right.
No, this is cap. This is the most L take I think you've ever had ever.
I'm Irelia. Stun.
No, he doesn't even know.
I'm so good.
No, he doesn't even know that you're supposed to W the back. You W the caster minions. You dash through all of them to stack up your passive. Then you can get your stun
you're
off,
right.
and then you don't even have to like this guy.
You're right.
This
My
guy's
bad.
garbage.
Let me do this. Let me channel to take less damage, and then
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
cleared the wave.
He doesn't know.
I'm amazing.
He does.
Here's
Yeah.
a
W.
Okay. What do you do? What do you do on
Colossal
Sejuani? What do
W.
you do on Sejuani? Oh, I'm gonna go in. Guys, I somehow managed to miss my ultimate on all of them. We cannot fight. It is over.
No, this is
It's
Sejuani.
done. We must leave.
I freeze 4. I W them. Now they're all in a line.
You
My
can't
team
freeze
follows
4.
up.
That's not how it works anymore. They changed it. Your ult
You
can
put
only
'em all in a
stun
group.
one. What?
It can stun and slow.
You can
It
only
slows
stun
in a
one.
surrounding area.
You
Okay,
only
that's fine.
stun one.
You've slowed the others. Then you W them all together.
Hey,
You're like,
let's talk
big
about
freeze.
Shyvana. Let's talk about Shyvana's high octane
Oh,
gameplay.
Shyvana?
You hit 2 buttons and you can like that's all you ever need to do. If you hit the other buttons, like those are just there for clout, right? Like
Listen.
maybe you hit W
listen,
just to like get
okay.
yourself closer to your
Okay,
E range.
if you're playing
That's it.
if you're playing AP, your Q does not matter. Let's be real. Q is irrelevant.
Oh,
If you're playing
production.
AP, you press W and you run at them. The enemy team goes, "Oh, you're feeding." Then as Shyvana, you ult into them, and then you E and go, "Oh, they're dead." I love this game.
Yeah, man, that's so high octane. Wow, you pressed R and you pressed E.
What is the
everybody
difference
touched
between
half.
that and Irelia?
You have to at least think about what you're doing on Irelia, because you have to stack up your passive. You have to actually be able to land a relatively difficult skill shot in your E because it's so thin. Hello? And it's like Shyvana E is about as easy to hit as Karma Mantra Q. It's the same thing, only Shyvana's E does 10 times more damage. I don't even play Irelia. I play like support champions too. That's the funny part. I just know an exciting champion from a terrible one.
Yes, Shyvana, exciting. Irelia.
Okay, I want you to find the most flashy Shyvana play that isn't like someone getting one shot by an E, and then like compare that to a montage of Irelia clips. One will actually be impressive. The other one will be like, congrats, bro. You caught out an enter.
Yo.
Good job.
Irelia montages are like 13-year-olds who got tired of playing Fortnite.
You don't have to call out P-Clay, bro. You do not have to
drank a-
call out P-Clay. That's not cool, bro.
Drink
That's
a lot of
messed
G
up.
Fuel and go, "I'm wired. I'm energy. I am Irelia. A part of the blade is with me. I'm good." And then you end for like 3 games. You get like one clip and you go, "Oh, I'm the best."
No, but I'm okay. Let's do some statistics just because I feel like that's the best way to handle it.
Alright. Statistics
Best
time.
Irelia NA. All right, is Challenger.
Best.
Okay. Best Shyvana NA. He's Master.
Grandmaster.
Nope, Master. He's just Master.
Pulse.
Nope. Pulse is not
Pulse
the best
NA.
Shyvana NA. Nope.
Okay, highest win rate? Highest win rate is Kajona.
Master.
No.
Actually, highest win rate is bronze 3. If you want to like
No, I'm
really,
looking.
really get down to
Okay, I'm looking. At this. We
highest win
have,
rate is a bronze 3 player in LAS with a 94% win rate. Okay, let's find the NA guy because I didn't realize it
best
changed everything.
Shyvana players is a Brazilian that is Diamond 2.
My bad.
Okay.
The highest win rate player in NA on Shyvana is Silver 2. Yes.
No, I'm looking at KOG Master, 66.3% win rate.
Nah, then you're wrong. You're not on League of
I think
Graphs.
you're
then.
wrong. I
You're
am
not
on League of Graphs.
Wait, who are you talking about?
KOJ, they have like a Draven
That's
icon.
a master player. That's a master
Yes.
player.
For
Yes.
NA.
Yes, master.
And then look at 31 in the 3rd seed from Japan.
Okay, again, this was about NA.
Yes.
This is I win. I win this discussion.
No.
Like I already gave
You
the
do not.
statistics. Irelia challenger players, Shyvana at best, you're like peaking masters. GG, I
Okay.
win.
To be fair, you look at Irelia, who gets buffed at the wazoo. Every now and then gets like a little slap on the wrist. Gets a little slap on the wrist here. See, this is what I love about Shyvana. He molds so easily whenever I provide him with factual evidence. Let's be real. What was the last time Shyvana got buffed?
Also, the reason that we're not talking about the game is because how boring are these teams to talk about? Like, Ziggs into Irelia. Whoa, who's gonna win that? Probably Irelia. That's crazy. Udyr versus Kayn. We've seen that already. It did not go well for Udyr. Top lane. Who wants to talk about Mundo versus Mordekaiser? Lane. Renata versus Braum. Braum counters Renata and Misfortune pretty hard. We've already touched on that a little bit. Nyla doesn't really have that synergy with Braum. Boom, ran through draft. Back to the conversation about what matters. How much cooler Irelia is as a champion than Shyvana.
Sorry, I am enjoying the chat of Becky saying this comedy routine is great. When are we gonna get the game though? Don't care.
I just did. I just ran through it. Oh, my bad. I should probably say where everybody's pathing.
Oh,
if you path top lane, you're inting. Anyway, back to like what we were talking about. Like
to the important discussion.
Back to the important discussion. Okay, Irelia, way more interesting champion than Shyvana could ever hope to be.
Listen, just because Irelia was in one cinematic of Awaken does not make her a better champion.
That was never the discussion. Again, you can't even you're just making up randomness.
No.
You made up something that helped my case too. That's another plus for Irelia, baby. It's
here's
free.
The thing.
It's free.
If you show a picture of Irelia and a picture of Shyvana, most people will go pretty lady and scary dragon lady. And people are gonna attract to.
And again, they point to Irelia. Yeah. What? You're helping. Thank you.
No.
You.
Here's what I'm saying. You're looking at a character with like 30,000 people playing it, and then you look at Shyvana that has like 10 people. Sorry, that's Ivern player base, 20 people. You have a bigger pool of people that is helping your case.
I see them plotting. I see them plotting against us in the chats. They think they can silence us, but we can't be silenced. It's not actually true. No,
here's the thing. We will notice whenever they go to break, and then as soon as the game starts, we'll just carry on with this conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this conversation is happening no matter what. Actually, once we get into the game, we'll have some cool stuff to talk about. Like, where's everyone actually pathing? But if they path correctly, well, that's crazy. Yeah, 5 point. Maybe someone will kill a ward. But before we see any of that nonsense, we're going to go ahead and throw it to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Irelia is better than Shyvana could ever hope to be.
No.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 3 of the series between Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian on the blue side, and on the red side we have True Minded Gaming. I cannot wait to see the thrilling conclusion of this game. Might not be so thrilling, might be kind of sleeper, but it'll be
Shogun.
a good time nonetheless. What?
Shogun, look, 5 point.
Oh my god, they did 5 point. No, they didn't. What is Misfortune doing? She's being a beta.
Misfortune is doing the defensive 5 point.
So, alright, it seems that Nyla is very upset about the Ziggs exhaust tech, which, and they also seem upset about the Misfortune cleanse tech and the Renata exhaust tech. And I don't know why, because I think having 2 exhausts pretty important this game. Because that'll cause Nyla to not really be allowed to play the game. Nor will
And Mundo.
okay, he's going where he
Mundo.
pleases. He is forced to flash, so I don't think he's allowed to go quite wherever he pleases. So I don't think that's ever allowed. But okay, no way this guy's pathing top lane. That's not real. That's not cool. I don't.
To
like
be
this.
fair, I think he's just trying to path top lane to help get this Mundo in the game a little bit, because as we do know, this.
He's playing Kane and he made his bot lane Leasham instead of starting Raptors like a Chad. Why
Listen,
would he do
he's
such
trying
a thing?
he's trying to give the opposing team a chance. We have to have
I mean,
some
I
excitement
guess
in this
so.
game, right?
I guess so.
Like, look at these team comps. We gotta have something going for us this game.
You know what? You know what I have to say as well is how much more fun is it to watch a bad Irelia than a bad Shyvana? Like bad Shyvana is just disappointing, right? But like a bad Irelia is like entertainment at its finest.
I don't know. Every time I play Aurelia, I do not find the entertainment.
Well, okay, but that's because you're playing it and it feels really bad. But then you're watching it and you watch the Irelia not allowed to play the game and it's funny. It is like it just
anyone
brings
play a
you
character
joy.
poorly is good.
I don't know. Like you watch a Shyvana like not being allowed to play the game, and you're like, dang, how did the game get so bad where Shyvana can't even play the game? That's wild. And then like, but like Irelia, you're like, all right, that guy was just gapped. That makes sense. That's funny though.
Yep, sometimes those are funny. Sorry, I'm
Misfortune with some
trying
nice
to
trades in the bot lane.
respond to a production message. Yep, so seems like a lot of the CS here is kind of even. Will be interesting to see who gets the first kill. Would be nice to see Labyrinthians actually get a kill here. Oh, Aurelia goes in, misses the stun.
Yeah, remember what I just said? Here comes a Ziggs! He's going in! He's finding the first blood! What a play from the Ziggs in the mid lane! That's what we like to see. Here comes the kill onto the top side of the map. Playing for the top side might just work out for him here. Flash is available, but he doesn't feel the need. Never mind, he uses it, and he wastes it. Unfortunate for the top laner of the Mordekaiser. Should have known that that was going to be what happens. They should have known where the bot lane was starting, or at least calmed it. As now, Udyr is looking for some CS down in the bot lane. Going to go ahead and get this Scuttle Crab, maybe even gank the bot lane, but I don't really think it's doable. So far, TELB off to a hot start.
Yep, and for those of you who are unaware, TLB is on the left side, currently trying to fix our scoreboard on the top side. Seems to be a little backwards at the moment, but we are doing our best to fix it at the moment, as we do see the ADC and support coming back down Will be interesting to see if who's going to like pull the trigger first on this bot lane duo.
Well, it does look like I don't think either of them really want to go ahead and do that. I think it's like really difficult for both of them to truly get a nice playoff. But the backs start coming through for the side or for the bot lane of TMG as they will get on out of there. As you know, hopefully soon we will have this scoreboard issue figured out. As we will see in the mid lane, maybe Irelia can get some help from her jungler, get a kill onto the Ziggs, but Ziggs, unfortunately, very safe mid laner.
Yep, that is definitely the thing I like about Ziggs. I used to play Ziggs a little bit whenever I tried to learn mid lane. Irelia jumps in, jumps back out, and then just takes the Q anyway. And, well, wait a minute, Kane's here in the bot lane.
Yeah, Kane is looking for the play. Flash is going to be used here as now they're trying to find the play onto the Braum. Braum is going to go down. Udi is here for the counter game, but how much can he really get done? The Nyla is allowed to do whatever she wants, or not really allowed to do whatever she wants. That is the enemy jungler. Here comes Irelia on the play. It's not level 6 yet. Again, Inferno Bomb for that Ziggs is available. Not going to quite use it just yet. Waiting for the chance to finish her off should it arise in the near future.
Yeah, I do want to point out that Irelia went in on the Ziggs while he was 6 and she was level 4, only hitting 5 after landing the stun. So this Irelia is a full level behind at the moment.
It does seem to be the case. Here comes the Irelia, gonna get that stun off as well. Manages to dodge most of that damage. The W does not matter! Another solo kill for Ziggs! Popping off in the mid lane. All of a sudden, Udyr is biting off more than he can chew. Does not actually have that mid lane prio that he thought he did. Here comes Renata to get that stun off as well. Will she hit it? There it is, but he is spell immune. Great knowledge from Udyr to be able to use that ability, and he gets to run right on out of there.
Yep, Irelia, more like Irel Mega Lol.
Yeah, she is power spiking though now. She does have that Vampiric Scepter,
Oh,
which makes things at least a little bit scary. That's not a joke either. That's real. That is not fun for Ziggs to deal with if he didn't already have 2 kills, right? So, you know, having the Lost Chapter himself does make that a little bit easier to deal with. So we'll see just how okay he'll be in this matchup based on how he's been abusing the range differential. And mid lane, I think he'll be fine.
could be fine. It will also be interesting. We do see Udyr trying to invade onto this Gromp Udyr. That's not a safe place for you to be.
No, not really. Kane's gonna go ahead and take it, no problem. Says, no, mine. I don't like you infringing upon my things. Not a fan at all of that one.
And it does appear that Mundo is getting a little bit aggressive in the top lane here, really pushing this way, but Udyr's floating topside.
Udyr wants to go ahead and find a kill onto the Mundo. I just don't really think that's doable. As wait a second, here it is. Mundo is going to get hit up. The ultimate comes through from the Mordekaiser. Here comes the Udyr. Udyr coming in, maybe gonna try to find a play. As now the Mundo's gonna try to get out of this one. The flash is used as he will not quite get there. It is finally goes down. Just took a little bit of extra time. Mordekaiser's gonna pick that kill up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. As now the Misfortune will go ahead and shove this wave out. The Nyla could be in some trouble with the Kane walking down as well, but Grom is a really good Guardian support. Not having that E though could spell doom should they want to go for the dive. That ultimate full time is available. Go ahead and use that one, but the dive potential is not nearly as strong now. A nice little satchel charge there for the Ziggs.
I do want to say that was a really good call out from the entire team of the Labyrinthians, realizing that Udyr was topside so they could get a free Infernal Dragon. And I was laughing at the pings coming in from True Minded going, hey, we need help with the Dragon Pit. Where is Udyr? Why is Udyr top?
That's going to be a lot of damage onto the Irelia. Irelia going back in. And Mega Inferno Bomb will just barely not find the kill, but it doesn't matter because the autos right after will find the kill. Here comes that satchel charge. Gets Ziggs right on out of there, and he will live. All of a sudden, he can't really run it forward as J-Force is gapping this Irelia. Nice
Yep,
shield
definitely
there
have
for
to
the
say
Braum.
this is currently a mid lane diff.
Glacial Fisher comes out. Exhaust is also going to drop it. Here comes the ultimate out of the Nyla. Nyla trying to find the kill. No, bullet time available for the Misfortune. Misfortune has to get focused down now. She will drop. Now they're trying to find the kill on to this Renata. Renata is going to get very low, but will not go down. Ghost is not enough to find the kill, as they have to get on out of here before Kane shows up and one-shots them. But that is a great play from the bot lane of TMG, and that's exactly what they needed to get themselves going down in the bot lane and for the rest of this game as a whole. Meanwhile, on the top lane, though, wait a second, Mordekaiser's getting very low, could die. The Kane is here, look for the kill, the flash forward! And he's able to find it so easily, maybe even get himself a double kill. That's going to be the ultimate to drop the tower aggro. The shield there, he's going to get stunned up, get shut down by Udyr. He's going to go up 2-0 in this game. And the gold is all evened up now.
I still think that was a pretty decent value. Well, this isn't value.
No, this could be Irelia getting back into the game if they're able to get the kill over to her. No flash available for the Dr. Mundo there, and that is Seaboard picking up his first kill of the game. Huge value for the Irelia, big roam for her. It does lose, I don't know exactly how many minions this is, but the Misfortune could be in a bad situation, but should be just fine. I believe the Irelia lost about a full wave. It is a cannon wave as well, so it's not great, but I mean, what is that, 6, 7 minions for a kill? You are perfectly fine with how that roam goes.
Yep, as we will be watching Udyr getting slowly collapsed on. I don't think Udyr can live this, but Renata does miss the grab and pull.
Yeah, so slowly was the key word there. As now Nyla wants to try to find the play, but the Kane is already red formed up, and he wants to try to find this play. Glacial Fissure has dropped, as they have to cut away from the Kane. Kane is not going to be able to get over the wall and follow, but they will pick themselves up a free Braum. Braum's going to go down. Kane wants to run over this game just like he ran over game number 1, being 3-1 with his mid laner who's 4-1 is going to be a solid start to making that vision a reality.
Yep, as we do see, Ziggs is currently 2 levels up over the Irelia, dodges the stun. This is Ziggs gameplay right here.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. Here's Kane, should be able to easily find the kill. That's a flash. Irelia, how much will that flash do? Should still die. A great ultimate, but he's always not in Q range, so he's stuck taking damage for free from the Raptors and dies. I love that idea from the Irelia to try to find that play. Could have been so impressive, but instead just looks rather silly, getting eaten alive by the chickens.
Yeah, as I kind of want to point out, I really did.
Nyla wants to go in here on the Misfortune. Misfortune taking a lot of damage. Nyla should find that solo kill. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You cannot be there. That is like walking up to a level 6 Samira all by your lonesome. And Nyla having those two, or having that kill before that, had Immortal Shield though before this. There was no way you were going to be able to win the 1v1, so not great for Misfortune. And on top of that, Renata nowhere nearby to defend this tower. Nobody's actually anywhere nearby to defend this tower. That's going to be Nyla getting about 1 or 2 solo plays, maybe even another one after everything is said and done here. I don't think that next play is going to be legal to go for. But if it was, that'd be so much money in the pocket of this Nyla, who is about 1,400 gold up on her opposition. She actually wants to go for it for clout. Gets it, as now Misfortune is going to try to run her down. Ghost is popped for the side, or something was popped. I don't know. Oh, Ghost was popped for Nyla. That is what happened there. And she will get out easy peasy lemon squeezy. And it gets another 160 gold up on her opposition. This could be a kill, honestly. The E does land, as now the cleanse is forced to be used from Misfortune. Misfortune's just getting run down. She has to go down such a long lane. The greed to stop that back immediately gets punished by the Udyr, and you love to see that. I hate it when people stop my back, but I love to see that immediately getting punished. As now, will the Irelia die, or will Braum and Udyr be able to make something happen here? Renata, I don't think you can really walk this way. Does end up being illegal. First tower goes over to the side of TELB. Glacial Fissure somehow misses the Ziggs. He just kind of walks in one direction, doesn't really care. He is going to be taking a lot of damage though. Udyr trying to run him down to the best of his ability. Gets slowed up on a snipe from the Braum to get him to slow down. Shutdown does go over to the Braum though. Unfortunate. Might have autoed, might have used an ability here or there. But either way, that is still so much money going into the pockets of the side of TMG. They get themselves a tower as well, and maybe they can even get the dragon on top of that.
Yeah, TMG should be able to get this dragon here because Kane doesn't spawn for another 10 seconds. But Misfortune is here, and we do know Misfortunes are prone to stealing a lot of dragons.
They don't actually drag it out properly. Teleport is coming in from the side of the Mundo, so he's just going to run down the opposition, but Nyla is here. Mordekaiser doesn't have his teleport available, as Nyla thinks she can fight this one out. What I am scared of is Kane, but Kane is so far away from this play, and it looks like TMG are going to be like, alright, fine. You guys can have the dragon. You guys expended that teleport to do so. Mordekaiser, please take the tower. And if he can, I think that actually ends up being pretty okay for the side of TMG.
We are going to be seeing the Hex Soul coming in for game number 3, just as it was the last game. Personally, I do believe that either team who gets Hex Soul will get it.
Man.
You see the big Ziggs ult coming in. Not a
Will
lot
it
of
be enough?
damage.
Mordekaiser is still able to get the tower. It wasn't about killing the Mordekaiser, it was more so about getting that wave killed. And it did, I'm pretty sure it wiped out the entire wave that Mordekaiser had, minus that cannon, which might have ended up being what he needed to get that kill. The cannon was just enough. Maybe he can even get without the cannon, it's just a little bit riskier. But either way, that's still a very worth play for the side of TMG because they're able to get that tower, even though they lose the dragon.
Yep, and we are seeing Mundo attempt to come back into this top lane. Very risky play here, but when we do see Renata and Kane wandering through the top side jungle, this is kind of illegal.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way, as now Renata does spot out that Udyr. Udyr is getting angry, though, is going to start running after Renata, but here comes Kane. Means it's not so illegal at all. Ziggs also has first walk, will be able to get up here. Irelia is all the way in the bot lane, but here comes the bot lane of the side of TMG. Udyr is getting so low. Will he go down, though, is the question. That's a nice ultimate from the Mordekaiser to try to even this one around. The Kane is running after the Mordekaiser, and guess what's happening to Kane's team? It's getting taken down. Ziggs is so low. Mordekaiser's 1v1ing the Kane, and that's not what you want to see at all. Mordekaiser should go down here. Trying to hold out for the W. The flash comes through. The Mundo will find the kill. Renata trying to hold off with her Mundo, but here comes the Udyr. They actually get the flash out of the enemy laners there. Here comes Misfortune to the bot lane. Ziggs is on his way as well to try to make sure that Irelia cannot do what she's doing right now. Irelia does have the opportunity to dive if she knew that no one was here. That Misfortune would probably be absolutely dead. But she does not believe in her damage enough right now and said, Alexa, take the base.
Yeah, but it does appear we're just going to be seeing a reset coming in for both teams. But not a whole lot actually going on now, as we currently have 3 minutes until Baron and about 2.5 minutes until the next dragon.
They will go ahead and take those Hex Tech gates. Gonna try to secure that blue buff for themselves. We'll see what this Kane can do besides the Scuttle Crab. Probably run away is going to be his plan here. Will he be able to do anything more than that is the question. Does not seem like it will be the case. Gonna go ahead and secure the Raptors instead, and just everybody gonna go ahead and return to farming for the time being.
Yep, definitely just seems like it's going to be a big poke game. We know Ziggs is really great at poking, Kane doing his best to farm, trying to finish up any items that he might have before this dragon spawns in about 2 minutes. Mundo is starting to float down from the top lane.
Goes ahead and takes that ward away as well, denying some vision, though. I doubt that control ward really was doing much where it was at the moment. I actually like the control ward because you end up getting to see, like, the laners as they're walking back to lane is pretty useful, but at this point, like I said, not really something that you can get too much value out of unless they're like you're like all the way across the map trying to make a play on the Rift Herald on the Baron and just happen to see them messing around before the wave crashes. But usually it gets cleared out before that. So we'll see the Rift Herald get started up now. Looks like it should be one that's taken by TMG. No one's really has the ability to contest this. Teleport is available for Mundo, but look at where Misfortune is, Kane is. They are not in any position to contest that at all. Said they want to go ahead and drop this mid lane perhaps, as the dragon is spawning in a minute. Go ahead and get some pressure for that objective is on the map. Force the side of the Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian. Yeah, correct. I feel like that's correct. I feel like Tenebris is what it is. I couldn't remember. I had been making fun of their name so much, I forgot what the real one was. So,
If it is Tenebris.
alright, solid, as we will see the Ziggs be chased away from this fight. Ziggs on the flank, not exactly what you want to see, but could be something that they could feasibly use here. Mordekaiser looking for a pick, but it's just not going to happen. As the team fight, I am a little bit worried as to how this one goes for each side. I'm not entirely sure who wins this one. Ziggs needs to be answered. The damage from him, he cannot be allowed to just be on the flank. He gets stunned up. Here comes the Irelia and the Udyr. He gets knocked up right into... Oh, wait, a huge berserk, a huge ultimate for Renata. But here comes the ultimate from Nyla. Will it be enough? They're doing so much damage. The Nyla, will it be enough to find the kill? She goes down to the Kayn there. Irelia now on the back line is allowed to be doing so much in these fights. Mordekaiser is absolutely massive. That's going to be a huge W from the Kayn to stop the Irelia from doing too much more. Kayn buying time to make sure that the enemy team cannot secure this dragon. And that is perfectly fine because if Kayn is allowed to live, he can easily secure it himself. Goes into the wall. He should be free to escape. There is a tower here, but it doesn't matter. Should be allowed to get right on out of here. He is 1 HP. One flash Q would do it, but there's just no flash. But here's the minions! The stun is just barely gonna swing wide, maybe. Oh, the wall. This is so tragic to watch. And guess who's coming? The entire enemy team. Oh, wait, but there's the minions! And there's the W. Will it be a kill? Will he go down? The teleport is coming through. Will they be able to find the kill? The E will slow them down enough, but there's the stun. But it's not going to actually stun at all. He's onto the backline. Irelia is going to get shut down now. Here comes the Mega Inferno Bomb. And here is the Udyr. No K to deal with. The bullet time is going to start rinsing through this team. A huge bomb shield to stop it for now. As now they're chasing down onto the Udyr. Here comes the Nyla once again, doing so much damage. Unanswered at the moment. The Misfortune is trying to do what she can, trying to fight back. And the Braum shield is not even being acknowledged by this Nyla. Just charging through as the vanguard of her team. Taking everybody down. TMG come out huge in that fight and will take the dragon as their prize.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, I believe that Tenebris had the right idea of getting this Mordekaiser and Irelia to chase after them, but then unfortunately they tried to walk into an area where they had no vision. It's kind of their downfall. Oh, Kayn almost got the steal.
I really thought he would for a second, but instead he is going to gift over a kill to the enemy team. Mordekaiser, I think, just ulted him. That seems a little bit... Or maybe he didn't. I think he did. I don't know how Udyr got the kill done. But either way, I thought I heard the sound effect. I was just really confused as how Udyr was able to secure that one, but either way, pretty solid for the side of TMG. You got a dragon for yourselves. You're stalling the win condition of the enemy team while furthering your own, as now the Misfortune could have bitten off a little bit more than she could chew, but you know, everybody else on the side of TMG is thinking like, hey, let's not go too far up. Yes, it looks like a free kill, but you don't have to agree too hard for it. Instead, they might just go ahead and prep a fight around the Baron, as that could be the game-winning fight, the game-winning objective for the side of TMG. It's going to take a little bit more, I think, for the side of Tenebris Esports Labyrinthian to win this one, though.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how Tenebris is going to crawl their way back into the game, especially being down just under 5,000 gold.
Yeah, it is not as big of a goal difference as in the other games. I think this is probably our closest game so far. Exactly how game 3 should be, in my opinion. But if I am the side of Tenebris, I am very worried about what this Udyr can do to my team. He's 7-1-6. He has a lot of gold. He is very tanky. He does a ridiculous amount of damage. Speaking of ridiculous amount of damage, here comes Irelia. Does miss the E, but it doesn't matter. Look at all that damage she does. The W is going to secure the kill, and Misfortune is out of there. Will the Nyla be able to do anything in the mid lane with the help of her team? Ziggs is walking in a way that he thinks is perfectly safe, but it ends up not being so. Udyr was there waiting for him. The good news is he does take the absolute safe way there. Well, not in his own base, but he's in a safe enough position where he can just launch himself. But, well, he is perfectly fine. Here comes Kayn trying to find a play onto the Irelia. Irelia not going to land a single stun. Is going to have that Q interrupted as well. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to do enough damage to help her team secure the kill, or help Kayn's team to secure the kill. But that means Baron is started. Jungle has shown on the bot side of the map. Braum needs to position towards where this Renata is, so he can go ahead and use that E should it be necessary. And it probably will be. Here it comes the Braum shield, completely counters it. It is a wasted ultimate. Love to see that, as TMG will escape with their lives and with the Baron. Just, oh wait, Kane wants to try to make something happen. I think that's very greedy, but he's only, testing the water. He's not doing anything crazy.
Yep, the important thing, even though the I can't even say their team name, that's how long it's been. Tenebrious.
Tenebroso.
Okay. The blue team should be thankful for is that Irelia does not have the Baron buff. Irelia, who started the game off pretty bad, who is slowly crawling her way back into this one on her own terms, does not have Baron buff.
Yeah, that's okay though. It's fine. You send Mordekaiser to the side lane instead, or you just 1-3-1. I think that's fine too. And then you still exert so much pressure on the map. It is a-okay. You're just chilling right now. Whereas if you're Tenebris, you're like, alright, yeah, the Irelia is not going to be putting out as much pressure, but there's just so much more pressure from every other lane that we're going to have to answer. It's not fun. It's not fun at all if you're them. And like, you look at what the win cons were originally, it was your mid lane, it was your jungle, and so far both of them have died a total of 9 times between the two of them. And yeah, they have those 11 kills, but they haven't been able to like make it matter for their ADC. Their ADC is barely a champion in this game. You might as well call her not a champion. She only has Kraken Slayer compared to Nyla's 3 items with boots. So I mean, yes, the Misfortune like has that Kraken Slayer, but not having Collector here just feels so bad. Glacial Fissure is going to swing wide though, and those are some flashes that were just used, yes, to get it out of Misfortune. I think that actually might be worth, maybe not the ultimate as well, maybe just using the flash from the Braum was all you really needed to do. I do like the aggressiveness, trying to end this game as quickly as possible, but this is not a tower you can probably defend, as it will be felled in one swoop right there.
Yep, we do see Tenebris doing their best to defend what they can. Unfortunately, the Baron buff is just so... Kaiser split pushing Ziggs doing his best to zone him out, which does work. Mordekaiser is going to be taking the ward, and it does appear that Dragon is coming up in 3 seconds, but here comes a big fight for the Dragon.
Yeah, nice ultimate from the Nyla though, as Nyla is, I believe the Renata ultimate was blocked by the Braum, so now Nyla trying to do what she can, trying to find the kill onto Renata. There she goes, the W will not save her. The ultimate from the Kane, trying to find the kill, will find the shutdown. Look at all that HP he has, as the bullet time will be chunking out so much, but it's only really hitting Irelia. Irelia will go down as a result of it though. Now Udyr has to run away for his life, away from this. If he can dodge away from the cleavers, then it will be enough to get away. But that is so much damage from the ultimate. Now he's on to the Misfortune. He has the W available. The lifesteal is just not enough. Misfortune will find the shutdown onto the Udyr, but meanwhile on the top lane, Mordekaiser will keep taking down these towers. Now, if you look at the builds of everybody, I think Braum just bought that Bramble Vest. I could be wrong, but there is only 2 anti-lifesteal items. And now, Mordekaiser teleporting into the Dragon Pit. This could be a disaster for Tenebris. They had to try to find something. It's not going to work for them. Glacial Fissure will not find the knockup in time. They will get out. Objective bounty is still achievable though. Mega Inferno Bomb is available. They probably shouldn't be hitting it while that's still an option for the Ziggs. It does swing, and now that it's gone, maybe it's just doable. As the Qs will be hitting. Here comes Kane. Kane is in there. He's trying to go for the smite. How does he not get it? What in the world? Did he smite early? I have no idea what happened there. As now, here comes the Mordekaiser trying to find the kill. They are doing so much damage to him. Irelia is going to be the one who ends him. They are going to go towards something, or they're just going to reset. I feel like they could have gone bot lane immediately, broken that tower, and any defenses that they had, but instead they just take the reset. A little bit of a question mark there. I think they should have pressured some objectives after getting such a huge pick. But we'll see what TMG can do with the money that they got from that kill.
It is going to be interesting. Unfortunately, TMG is currently down about 8,000 gold, which is not a scenario you want to be in. I mean, it is better than being down 10,000 like you were in last game, so you have a little bit higher chance. But unfortunately, if your Misfortune's 1-6, this is not the scenario you want to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. As we will see what the Misfortune can do to like get some money in this one. Needs to like get some of the CS, say, hey guys, let me farm, Let me get some money. I'm 60 CS down. Please, it's the only way we can play the game is if I am allowed to have money on the map. If I don't have money on the map, it is very sad. It's very, very tragic. It does have Collector now. It does have that BF Sword. Probably going to go ahead and start going that IE. I think that's exactly what you need to do. Just raw damage. Nothing else can be built. If you're building anything else right now, it's just absolutely grief. I think even building like an LDR would be like game-endingly bad. But here comes Mordekaiser. Speaking of game-ending like bad, might be able to find this kill. Oh, the bullet time gets canceled immediately. Mordekaiser took 0 damage in that play. Does not have an ultimate to save him now. Does have that W to try to get him out of the Lion's Den though. That shield is going to do a little bit, but not enough. The shutdown is going to come through. That's the Nyla, who did get berserked up there for a second. She's going in onto the backline, trying to find the kill onto Renata. Renata is down, but so is Nyla, and that is a lot of damage that they are missing on the side of TMG. Now, Udyr, the Braum. Sorry, the Braum is the one who is still fighting this one out. Dies for his Udyr's sake. Irelia has to go for something, but cannot find that tower. Will not be allowed to do so. Instead, has to run away and go over towards that Baron to make sure the enemy team can't not take it.
No, I do believe Irelia did get the tower.
Oh, wait, I didn't realize that there was one there before. I thought he was going to go for another tower. That's what I thought. The inhibitor tower is the one I was talking about. But if he got one before that, then it's an okay play for his team. Either way, will they be able to do anything more with this? Probably not for the side of Tenebris. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and have to take down those minions in mid lane, try to keep every lane shoving the other way to the best of their abilities. No supers means that that's pretty doable. Dragon coming up in 2 minutes. That does not seem to be TMG's game plan, though. They want this Baron.
Yeah, TMG racing for the Baron because they believe if they get the Baron, then they can end the game here and now. Which, honestly, with these two Resident Sleeper compositions, no complaints.
I don't know. This game has been anything but Resident Sleeper, which has actually surprised me. It is 20-26. It is an absolute bloodbath. It is a close game as well. I've been very impressed with how the two teams have played this game. I mean, you look at how flashy the Mila has been. It has been absolutely insane watching her try to wreak havoc on the backlines. I think once she is allowed to fight with the rest of her team, the fight should be a lot cleaner. Now we do see Ziggs having walked up. Mundo getting caught out. A lot of damage being brought down by this Udyr. Udyr doing what he can. Does not have any lives, or sorry, anti-heal though, to make sure that Mundo is not gonna be regaining too much of that. Meanwhile, though, Mordekaiser on the bot side of the map taking towers. Kane is backing at the moment. If they see that, if they see him complete that, that could have been the go-ahead button for Baron. Meanwhile, though, Mordekaiser should be able to take down this tower, no problem. Baron is getting started. They see Mundo on the bot side there. They see the prio that they have in mid lane, and they're just going to start that Baron immediately. The question is, can Tenebris walk into the Lion's Den that they have set up for themselves here? Baron is getting absolutely melted, and it's going to have to come down to Renata being able to ult this, but with a Braum standing exactly where he needs to, that's going to be so hard to pull off. As he just needs to stand in the front four scene. Teleport coming through from the Mordekaiser. They want to fight this. They want to end the game right here, right now. Will it happen, though? They're flashing in onto the Misfortune. Misfortune's going to go down. Berserk is coming through. That's going to be huge for the side of Tenebris. But the question is, can the Nyla survive, or will she go down? One kill's going to come through onto the Braum. Finally, the Nyla goes down. Kane is still in there, healing so much. Can the Irelia make it happen? Kane is ulted up by the Mordekaiser there, as now the Mundo is trying to survive, but he is getting run down by Irelia. The Udyr is sprinting after the Ziggs. Ziggs is going to use that bomb, but he just ends up sending the Udyr in with him as well. Renata is the last man standing. Will he be allowed to base? Will it even matter if he gets back? It looks like they're going to go ahead, go through the bot lane and through that lane. The Misfortune is up in 8 seconds, which might be enough. She doesn't have the bullet time, so the wave clear is not going to be as good as they want it to be. Maybe TMG can't even end the game, but they will ruin this base.
Yeah, but especially with this bottom inhibitor going out, that is going to be very detrimental. Actually, all 3 towers are going down. We might actually see a 3 inhibitor siege here. Mordekaiser is going to be getting this bot one. Top one is gone. This is the 3 inhibitor basically all popped at the same time. This is not looking good.
No, not at all for Tenebris. Now an 11k gold lead for True Minded Gaming. The 3rd dragon for them is up for grabs. That's going to be the 3rd Hexex dragon. Imagine or Hextech Dragons, a soul for them as well. That would be almost impossible to come back from. It is such a difficult game for them to play, especially the way that the Kane wants to play, especially he wants to brawl, but you're fighting a brawling composition into Udyr, into Mordekaiser, into Irelia, into Nyla of all champions as well. It is so difficult to do what you want. Yes, you have that lifesteal. Yes, there's not a lot of them that are building anti-heal, right? But it just doesn't matter because of the damage that they're allowed to put out onto you. Because, I mean, your champion wants to do exactly what theirs wants to do, and you're playing with a Misfortune and a Ziggs that are like just peppering them from behind. And when your Misfortune has a Collector and a Kraken Slayer, and that's all she has built at 34 minutes of the game, while the enemy Nyla is half an item away from full build, it just stalling out the game seems like an impossible situation.
Yeah, especially since now we're back at that 10k gold deficit for Tenebris, sorry. Yeah, at this point, we just see TM just running it down mid, playing a quick game at Ingram. Be like, yeah, guys, let's just end this now. We're tired of playing with our food.
Yeah, and I think with the Baron buff, it is completely reasonable to do so. You can just siege down these towers with 3 waves of supers. Here they come, just getting pumped into the space. You don't even have to fight them. Realistically, you're waiting for the enemy team to make the play. The question is, will they do so? Here comes that Glacial Fissure. Kane has to go down, and if he doesn't, it could be detrimental for the side of TMG. Full time is going, but that's a huge shield from Rom to block so much of the damage. Now, Irelia is getting in there. Yes, the Nyla is dead, but there are still other damage dealers to deal with. Now, the Renata does manage to keep the Kane alive, but for how long? Not long enough. Mordekaiser slams down on the Mundo and slams down on any chance of this game being a save by Tenebris as TMG take the game, they take the series in a 2-1 fashion.
Yep, that is definitely one way to end the series. And once again, another VRS series ends in a reverse sweep. God, what a madhouse.
Yeah,
It's an
Shogun
easy
and I,
prediction. Yeah.
we were right the whole time. We knew it. It was just a name difference. Hello
No.
everyone. That was a really exciting match. I actually got ulted by Mordekaiser myself, so I'm currently in the death realm, and it is as depressing as it sounds. But that
Should
aside, man, it was looking a little dire in the early game for the side of TMG with how far behind the Irelia was. And then they just started pulling it back using those champions that you don't often see succeed. At least I haven't seen Nyla succeed very much. And doing it
It's broken.
really, really successfully.
I mean, I think the real key to this game was having 4 Conquerors on one team. I think that like
True.
really sealed the deal.
Conquerative.
It is. It's. I mean, it really is just a fervor of battle meta at that point, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
SMH.
100%. 100%, you know, sometimes you just want more stats to stat check people better. And who is a better stat checker than Irelia? Shyvana actually is a better stat checker than Irelia, but that is beside the point. Man,
I'm getting bullied.
I got you are. I gotta
Yeah.
say, I'm really underwhelmed by the Kane performance in that game. Like in the early game, he was doing fine, but as the game went longer and longer, he was just less and less effective, and he wasn't able to put in that same sort of performance we saw in game one. What do you think is different in this game compared to the first one that made Kane feel so much less impactful?
He didn't have an ADC in this game. I think like
Ah,
if you want to get down to it, I mean, how much more impactful was the Caitlyn in game number 1 than the Misfortune in game number 3? It's night and day, right? Like the fact like the fights were actually super close. I think if you have Misfortune doing damage, if she has the same amount of gold as Nyla, these fights are so hard because Nyla's dying so early in them too. If
mhm.
Misfortune is living and pumping out the damage that she should be, all of a sudden fights are winnable. And I actually think with the build that she has, I don't know if she had IE in the last fight or if she bought it after she died in the last fight, but if you have these 3 items, I think the fights actually become like kind of doable as
Okay,
long as you position
okay.
correctly. But I mean, like as soon
That's
as
a
you hit
tough
this,
sell. You lost me. I don't know how to position.
yeah, well, that's tough. So some people just can't do it, And I mean, to be fair, against team composition that you're playing against, it's hard to position well when Udyr can run you down from about 300 feet away.
All right. Well,
Does look
there's
like
an
we have
MV.
the
Yeah.
poll, yeah.
Yeah, the MVP vote is in the chat. Who do you feel on the side of true-minded gaming? Were these superior gamers, and who is the most superior gamer? Was it Iceman in the top lane, Devil Milk Tea in the jungle, Saborg, my favorite monarch, in the mid lane, Murmaz in AD carry, or Crazy Warkey in the support role? I'm gonna start with you, Kongman. Who do you feel is the MVP of the series? If you'd influence the chat, make a compelling case for the
Okay.
chat here. Who do you want? Who do
Okay.
you think is MVP?
Here's the problem, and I
Oh
already locked in my
goodness.
vote, and I'm not happy with my vote.
Okay.
Okay, Iceman had the freest lane,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, so there's no real MVP vote there.
Okay.
Devil Milk Tea did pretty good. Had a hard opponent in the jungle, but for whatever reason, the opposing
Iceman wasn't
jungler
even
was
in
like,
this game. It was Holy Ninja.
"Oh, that's true, yeah." So whoever voted for Iceman, kind of weird. Voting
don't
for a
worry
guy who's
about it.
not
Don't
even
worry
here.
about it.
But
Don't
yeah,
worry
so
about it.
Devil Milk Tea, I would say had like a harder lane opponent, but I don't know why the opposing jungler was like, "Yo, let me feed top lane," instead of the ADC that won us the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
Mid lane, sorry, that Irelia performance kind of throw that away. Uh, see, I voted for I hate saying this ADC,
That's
Wow.
correct.
and now
That's
I leave
correct though.
How?
because I
That's
hate
correct.
ADC players.
That's I mean, you don't have it like sometimes it's just the correct option though. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
just the correct option, and this is one of those times where it's just straight up true. I mean, and the reason what I always look for, especially in a 2-1 series, is who performed in the loss, and the one who did not int in the loss and actually played as well as they probably could have was the ADC, was the Sivir. The Sivir was like, okay, this is the only one that can actually like win the team the game. And then game number 2, you look at like how well was Caitlyn doing as a whole. Caitlyn was gapping the Twitch and CS. Yes, Caitlyn counters Twitch, but usually it's a support diff. And I look at the support, it was Lulu versus a Mumu. There's no world that your Lulu should be giving you more prio than the enemy of Mumu. But that's exactly what was happening, right, in this game. Because the Twitch just does so little damage as well. And Caitlyn knew exactly how to pressure the Twitch out of range of minions, and the fact that she's just out CSing him that incredibly well was enough to be for me to be like, all right, as long as he has an average performance in game number 3, I think it's pretty safe to go ahead and give it over to the ADC. And then he has like an okay game towards like the mid to later half of the game, but during the early game, I mean, the Nyla was what kept the team in the game, along with the Udi, of course, who ends up going 11, 2, and 12 by the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, we do have it. The MVP poll concluded, which is tragic because none of us actually got the score line from the last game, and I am now opening my client
I
to
have it. I
attempt.
have it. Wait, who is
Oh,
it?
you
Who
have
is
it?
it? Yeah,
It
I have it.
is. Yeah, it's the AD carry.
Murmaz, 6, 6, and 11.
Oh yes. Congratulations, Murmaz. You are our MVP, going 6-6 and
Wow.
11
Whoa.
in the last
Whoa.
game as Nyla. The
Yeah, we
graphics
gotta get
should be
the.
popping up here momentarily as we watch Shogun painfully clap into the emptiness void of the
I'm not
MVP.
painfully.
Okay,
I.
there's Becky
It's a
clapping in the
win.
void.
Yeah,
See,
the literal death realm.
Becky forgot to buy their Quicksilver sash to get out of the Mordekaiser ult,
No.
much like everyone on Labyrinth did. By the way, Labyrinth, if you want to win games against
Wait,
Mordekaiser, buy a
no
Quicksilver
way.
sash.
No way Kane doesn't have QSS this game.
He
No,
did not.
no. Oh, he
But
wasn't even building it. He wasn't even building it
Nope.
last item. He was going Spirit Visage.
Nope.
Wow.
Look,
Wow.
he just won't
Wow.
ult you if you believe hard enough.
Yeah, he just manifested the
True.
fact that he wouldn't get ulted, and then he still got ulted.
See,
I'm not
Manifesting
gonna
be
get
damned.
ulted.
see, here's what I noticed as Mordekaiser. If I'm played against a Mordekaiser, I'm the only one that builds QSS, and then I never get ulted. I feel great. But if I play as
Mhm.
Mordekaiser, I tab, the entire enemy team has first itemed QSS, and I'm like, okay, I can't exist. Thank you, team.
Yes. No, it's oh
Painful.
good. Well, yeah, it's not
Fun
ideal.
time.
I do like I do like Mordekaiser. I think it's fun to play. I don't like seeing it in the jungle. I think if you're still playing jungle Mordekaiser, you're coping really hard. Uh, he, he
Okay.
is
I'm being
just
attacked all over tonight.
just not as good as other junglers. What does he do? He clears quickly. Wow. So
Mm.
can like every other meta jungler. That's
Okay.
nothing special.
Okay. Let's stop bashing the Mordekaiser jungle because I've been informed that we do have the graphic ready to go for the MVP.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and throw it up here real quick.
Wow. I wonder who it
Ooh.
is.
I know.
Yeah, it's
Oh yes, we
gonna
haven't
be a
announced yet, and
surprise.
the big surprise we get a drum roll from Becky.
I don't know.
Oh, there it is.
Boom. It is Murmaz 38 on the Nyla, putting in a great performance in all 3 games, particularly the Caitlyn in game 2. But the Nyla in game 3 was certainly something to see. It's very unusual champion, something that not a lot of players are prepared for. Both the players playing it and the players playing against it. So seeing a good Nyla performance, even though the scoreline doesn't necessarily look like one of those OP game-winning scorelines, in the game where it mattered, the Nyla was delivering where they needed to. So absolutely a deserved MVP for Mermaz on the night, and kept the team alive, kept the team in the game, and got them the reverse sweep.
I do want to answer a quick question in chat. Someone asking when will the Queen's Gambit be streamed? They're currently undefeated. Congratulations on being undefeated. Unfortunately, we will not be streaming you next week because you have a bye. Wait your turn.
True.
Okay, thank
True.
you.
Yeah.
So get you goad,
All right,
nerd.
all right. Answer solved. Don't Z us in chat.
Yeah.
Go away.
Although it is, it is late. We're getting late. Stream is coming to a close as we pull back to the desk. We can reflect on what we just witnessed and close out the stream, because next week we do not know who will be facing who will be on the Rift, but there are a lot of really interesting matchups coming up, and hopefully, Queen's Gambit, they have their bye week, and congrats to them. They get a W, I guess, but there'll be a lot of interesting matchups, and I expect that next week will be a banger as well. But hopefully, I won't have to be there for it,
Wow,
because
you hate us
I,
that much.
Wow,
I
dang,
need
that's
sleep.
messed up.
Dang.
I not because I don't want to be here, but because I do like to sleep,
Because you don't
and
want to
I got
be here. That's all
yeah,
I
yeah,
heard.
true.
You know what, Becky?
I
You know what?
actually hate Shyvana and
Yeah,
Okay.
woo! Space,
Irelia.
space,
I
space,
hate
space,
both of these champions. The
space, space,
only
space,
good
space, space,
champion is Fiddlesticks.
Okay, wait, hold on. You
Okay,
lost me. I'm
tell
confused.
you what, tell you what, Becky.
Yeah,
Becky, I feel
yeah.
like I want to join Queen's Gambit, so I think I'll take a bye next week, so you have to come in and take me
Oh,
because I trust your spot.
Yeah, true.
no, it's fine.
Becky, here's the thing. You have yet to have my spot on the cast so far. I've been here every week, unlike Shogun and Dodge.
Uh-oh.
Lazy
I
bums.
feel like that's literally not true. I feel like I did
No, it's
color
true. No,
every
no,
week.
no, no. You didn't do color because
Nope.
Kongman's been here every week.
Okay,
Yep.
That's true.
okay,
That's true.
I am
okay. That is true.
currently 2 for 3 on predictions, and this is week 5. I'm
Yeah,
not having a good
but
time.
that's beside the point. Anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the stream, make sure you hit the follow button, subscribe if you want to support us. It is September, and even though Twitch does hate their broadcasters and they hate everybody who works for their platform, we do still appreciate the money. So make sure you can subscribe, gift subs out if you want to support the content, especially during the stream, proper during the games. Is very much appreciated by the community and by the production. Uh, Follow Twitter, join the Discord, !Discord in the chat. You can get all those updates. You can get on the action yourself. And with that, make sure you, of course, follow us on Twitter, our individual Twitter handles. We may or may not post I've honestly just been retweeting things because I'm not funny, so I just retweet funnier people than me, or things that are dumb. I also retweet that because that's funny to me. But support the talent as well. Big shout out to Braku behind the desk, behind the cameras, making us look as good as possible, even with the technical issues. Can't always win some of these days, but that aside, it's been a good night. It's been a good stream. It's a good series of games. So once again, thank you all for watching and have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow for the VTS.